13, John Speheger, United States Marine Corps, and we're filming at his home in Plymouth, Indiana. It is April the 1st, 2002. Well, thank you very much for allowing us to come to your home and to get this interview.
It's a rare pleasure, fellas.
Thank you, sir. And always a pleasure to interview a Marine.
I appreciate that.
Well, let's start off with what's your full name?
John Louis Speheger.
Speheger.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your date of birth?
June 13,
Okay.
1926.
And what was your rank at discharge?
PFC.
Okay. Well, Private Speheger,
Mm-hmm.
where were you born?
Bluffton, Indiana, on the banks of the Wabash.
On the banks of the Wabash. So was this sort of like in-town Bluffton, or?
Yeah, edge of town. The Wabash run right through Bluffton.
I'll bet you had fun as a kid.
Well, I had to leave there when I was about 6 years old.
Yeah.
Went to South Bend. My dad got a job at Bendix. I didn't want to leave Bluffton, but we did.
Yeah.
Then my folks were divorced in 1935, so we went to Bourbon over here and lived with her folks, my mother's folks.
Okay. Well, tell me about your mom. What was her name?
Ines
Ines. And what was her maiden name?
Slough, S-L-O-U-G-H,
Okay.
and she got a job at the hospital as a nurse. She was an RN, and it was lucky she did, because that was our mainstay during the Depression. She usually had work, even though it was tough. Nurses didn't get paid that much back then.
Yeah.
So that kept us going.
Steady work, though. There wasn't much of that going around back then.
Pardon?
There wasn't much steady work going around
No,
back then.
mm-mm. No, I can remember mine very vivid, the Depression times.
Yeah.
But like I told people, didn't think too much of it. You thought we went hungry a few times, but we thought that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Then later on, you find out, well, no, that ain't the way it was supposed to be. You were just born in a different time, and I remember that very vividly.
And anything in particular you remember about the Depression, outside of being hungry?
Oh, yeah. Not like nowadays. People could go away and leave their doors unlocked, because nobody stole off of you hardly. Oh, it wasn't. It did happen, but not that often, Yeah. And the people that had cars could pull up in front of the house and leave the keys in the car. It was safe all night. Just things like that, You kind of took for granted. You figured everybody was in the same boat. Why take advantage of somebody else, Even the kids had that in their mind.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that doesn't seem to be getting passed along right now.
Everybody, that's why it's hard for guys like me and you to accept this,
Yeah.
put up with it. But
It really is.
we got a gutless government, I think. Doesn't do that much.
Tell me about your mom. What kind of a person was she, personality-wise?
She was serious-minded. Of course, she had to be, raising two kids by herself,
Yeah.
And then working in the hospital, and walking from the house on Plum Street clear out to Parkview Hospital. That's when it was north edge of Plymouth, and that was about 14 blocks there and back, Wintertime also. She finally got a car. She got a used second-hand 36 Ford, and that was a blessing.
Yeah.
And I think she paid that off at $12 a month.
Wow. You can't even buy gasoline for him for that.
Wouldn't fill the tank.
Oil change. What about your dad?
Well, that's an unusual feller. He was, starting off, he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He worked at Bendix. He was, from what I heard, he was one of the smartest non-college graduate engineers that a lot of people have ever seen. He helped design the carburetors for the B-17s and the B-29s.
Oh, really?
And he got fired at Bendix 3 times for drunkenness. And they called him back. that's just how much they depended on him. And the third time, they said, "No, that's it, Louis. You're done. We can't handle you anymore." Yeah. And he's a brilliant man, only he was an alcoholic.
I see a lot of that. A lot of my
yeah,
friends who are alcoholics are just very brilliant people,
Seems so,
hard
you know.
workers, but they just can't stay
Got
with
the
it.
bug.
That's a
Of
shame.
course, I think I was a little bit of an alcoholic after the war was over.
Yeah.
Drink to forget, you know.
Yeah.
Then you get over that.
What was your dad's name?
Louis.
Louis?
L-O. That was his, Louis for short. It was L-E-W-I-S.
Okay.
Of course, I was a junior. I should have put that way.
Okay.
John Lewis Jr. And he went by his middle name Louis. He didn't go with John. But we lived here in Plymouth after we got here in '36 until the war started, and I left here in '44 and joined the Marine Corps.
Okay. Now you mentioned you had a brother or sister.
Just at one sister,
You had one sister. What's her name?
Ruth.
And what became of her in life?
She married a guy from Illinois. She lives up at LaGrange Park, Illinois.
Yeah.
And nice guy, Don Chapin. He was an engineer for Electromotive
Oh, okay.
at LaGrange Park. That's where that Electromotive section GM is. Now they're
Right.
kind of shut down. They're having all their locomotives produced at London, Ontario,
Are they really?
Canada.
I didn't know what happened to that. I've run across a few fellows that work for Electromotive and kind of lost track of it.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but that's for their reasons, and I guess they don't care to tell us.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
No, no, they'll keep us in that loop. It must have been kind of tough for you and your sister when your mom working, and there must have been some extra responsibility there at home for you too as well,
We had
wasn't
to
there?
watch what we was doing, you know.
Yeah.
Turn the lights off, don't leave the stove on, and throw some coal in that furnace.
Yeah.
Well, not too much, and not too little, you know.
Well, yeah, you'd have to keep the furnace going.
Oh yeah, when
Yeah.
we went to school.
You just didn't flip a switch back in, did you?
Not back then, no, it was a bit different.
Yeah, old coal furnace. Did you have like a coal chute downstairs and?
No, we had it. It was the coal bin was out the back door, and we had an Arcola stove, at gas or a coal burner, and it heated radiators in the house. Each room had a radiator, and it had that piping into the Arcola heater, and that's what heated that house. So we had to make sure that was fired up so that water in them radiators didn't freeze.
Yeah.
Or you'd have been in big trouble every room there, you know.
Oh, especially up here, cold as it gets up this end
Oh,
of the.
buddy. And that's just something we took for granted. We knew that and kept that up. You know.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's not like throwing on a thermostat today.
Yeah. Well, your mom probably works some pretty odd hours too.
Oh, yeah, she
Being a
worked
nurse.
second shift and sometimes third shift, you know. And that's back when nurses weren't paid that much.
Yeah.
And she was a registered nurse. 50 years she nursed.
Wow. That's a pretty good record.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tough job then.
Yes, it is a very physically demanding job. Pretty stressful at times.
Yeah, she did a lot of lifting she shouldn't have had to do, but
Yeah.
that was part of their job. They kind of expected them to do it back then, but not nowadays.
No. So, what kind of things did you and your sister do as kids to have a little fun every now and again?
Yeah. She went to parties with her girlfriends when they had a party or such. I had a newspaper route, the South Bend News Times, but they went broke in 1940.
Hmm.
So us News Times carriers were out of a job.
Yeah.
The Depression broke the South Bend News Times.
Wow.
So we went to the South Bend Tribune to get some paper routes. They were all taken, you know, of course, so we signed on as subs, thinking later on when that guy graduated out of high school or something, or he'd find a better job, we could have the route ourselves, you know, and get our subs.
Yeah.
And that's all changed.
Where'd you go to school?
Washington School, it's tore down now. Old Washington School, and then Lincoln High School in Plymouth.
Okay.
But I didn't finish my senior year. I left for service between my junior and senior year,
Okay.
December '44.
So, December '44, you left school. So you wanted to be in the Marine Corps, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I had to fool my mother into signing that release if you wasn't old enough, you know.
Ah, so you weren't quite old enough.
Not quite, but they hung me up till just a couple days before my 18th birthday, and then I was on the bus down to Indianapolis to take my physical.
Yeah.
And I passed. And then us guys who won in the Marine Corps headed for Parris Island, South Carolina.
What kind of things did you do back home before then? Were you, when you heard about Pearl Harbor, were you kind of eager to get into the fight, or?
Yeah, well, of course, the time that happened, I was only, what do we got here? 14 years old, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody looking up on the map of where the hell was Pearl Harbor. And it was kind of hard to comprehend, you know.
Right.
And people were saying, oh, that Japanese tin can fleet will sink it in 2 weeks, you know. Mm-hmm, you bet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
Been
so,
working.
well, it'll be over in a month.
Yeah.
And I just one of the people said that to reflect back a little later on, or even not now if they're alive.
Well, we all say things at 14 that we.
Oh yeah, people thought Japan was a bunch of stupid little dudes, you know, buck teeth and that Japanese junk they sold here in the United States. And they got clever and they printed on their stamped on their little trinkets and doodads they sold at a dime store, made in USA. The Japanese got an island off the main islands and named it USA. So they got by with that for a while. I don't know if you guys heard of that or not.
No, I don't think I have.
Made in USA, USA. Didn't put the periods in, but who the hell was looking for periods?
Oh, gee.
Been a long time since I'd heard that.
Yeah. Wow. So, what does a 14-year-old do until he's old enough to go to the war, to fight the war back here at home? Is there?
I guess usual stuff. Of course, I had a paper out, and I wasn't the smartest kid in school. I had to do extra studying to get passing grades. And we had our hobbies. Played a little ball, you know, and went to the movies. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Take a quarter, go uptown. Gussie's hamburger shop up here had nickel hamburgers, Cupies. You'd buy 2 of them, bottle of pop. You had 15 cents left. You could get 10 cents admission to the store and 5 cents for a bag of popcorn. All in 2 bits. That was a big day. That's all we
Not
needed.
bad. Not bad at all.
That was depression prices.
Yeah. You don't see that now. Did you buy any war bonds, or?
Oh yeah.
I remember my dad was too young to go into World War I, and one big thing for him was when he was able to buy a war bond. He was real proud of himself then.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, we bought stamps. We couldn't have enough to buy a whole bond, so we bought stamps, you know.
Yeah.
2 bits a piece till you got 1875, and then you'd have a $25 bond, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't have too many, but we got a couple, you know. And then the rationing, that was something else. But nobody went hungry. With the ration stamps, you couldn't get all the goodies, but you got enough, you know.
Yeah. Were you getting pretty regular reports on the war back home?
Yeah.
Could you pretty much follow what was going on?
I did for a kid, you know. I was interested, so I'd follow it up. And they had a lot of propaganda going during the war, you know. They needed a hero. Colin P. Kelly said he dove his plane into a Jap battleship and sunk it. Well, he didn't, but he did die. You might say a hero. He died trying to steer that plane away from the water getting on land, I guess, but he missed.
Yeah.
So he went down, and it was just things like that, you know. They shouldn't have done it, but they did to boost up morale.
Had you made up your mind which theater you wanted to get involved in? I mean, did you want to go to the Pacific? Did you want to go to Europe?
Yeah, I wanted to go to the Pacific. The only way to get there was to make sure he didn't fight in Europe was in the Marine Corps, because I had some German relation over there I might have been shooting at,
Oh.
getting it back at him. You know, I had a little soft spot in the heart for Germany, even though they were fighting under a false ideology. So
Yeah.
I knew the way to get out of that would be to join the Marine Corps, because that was all Pacific.
We had another fellow in that same situation. He was very German in his background, and he didn't feel right about going over there. And for the same reason, he
I'm
probably
glad to hear it.
would have gone after some of his own kin. You never know.
I'm glad to hear it.
So I had another fellow beyond that had German ancestry, and he says it didn't matter to him. But some fellows, I imagine it did matter.
Well, yeah. Well, German grandma brought me up for a while there. About the first 3 years, I couldn't even speak any English, and then I got, and I can't hardly remember any,
Yeah.
So that's why I had a soft spot in my heart for people in Europe.
Right. Well, so you got in early, had your mom sign. How did you get your mom to sign a paper?
Well, I said, hell, if it didn't, they're going to put me in something else that I don't want. So she kind of seen it that way and agreed, and she signed a release for me,
Yeah.
And I still went in when I was 18. It just hard around, till I just about reached my 18th birthday, and there it was. So I got in fairly early.
So.
And the partner I survived with, him and I were on Guadalcanal training, and all through the Battle of Okinawa. And we lost track of each other after we left China, And he left a week before I did. They got out on points then. We lost track of him. And that's a whole nother story. I probably hadn't ought to get involved in that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, about 50 years later, in 1995, I got a few phone calls, Me and my son were out on the back deck cleaning rifles. Phone rang, come in, it was some seed salesman for your yard, I said, no, I don't want to. About 10 minutes later, another one called. He said, siding for your house. I said, no, I don't need any damn siding. Then the phone rang a third time. I was hot. I come in here. I says, yeah, what the hell do you want? A little silence at the other end of the line. I said, well, damn, I thought maybe you want to remember Guadalcanal, Okinawa, Guam, and China. I says, who the hell we got here? He says, this is hardly, I couldn't believe it. And we got to talking things over, and I said, well, hell, I just had a birthday here a couple months ago. I was 70. He says, yeah, well, I had one in February. I was 68. I said, what the hell do you mean you 68? I went in young.
Yeah.
And here he's 2 years younger now. He said, hell, Johnny, all the time I was with you, I was only 16 years old. And I thought, son of a bitch.
Wow.
He'd spent 30 years in the Miami Police Force. And that's a winner.
Oh, yeah.
And his real name was Harris. And I says, well, no wonder I couldn't find you. I says, how come you use your name Hartley? He says, that was my adopted name. He says, John, during the Depression, I didn't tell anybody when I was with you guys. My mother sold me for $1,100.
Oh, gee.
Oh my.
And he says, I don't know who she is or where or why. He says, but my real parents' name was Harris. So he says, I went back to it because that was on his birth certificate. He says,
Yeah.
You guys knew me as Hartley. That's how I got into Corps early, at an early age.
Huh.
And he'd been married 5 times. And I said, how the hell do you manage that? He said, well, first wife left me, took the kids and poisoned them against me. I ain't heard from them yet. And they'd been 55 years old now, And he said he married a Cuban ambassador to Spain, yeah, his daughter. He married a Cuban ambassador to Spain's daughter. That's where he learned all his Spanish that helped him out down there in the Miami Police Force.
Yeah.
And after he climbed out of that, he went up election South Carolina and got a job on the force. And pulled a guy over one day for a traffic violation, and Hartley looked at the guy. He says, didn't I arrest you 10 years ago down at Miami? The guy just folded in his seat. He couldn't believe it. He got the same guy 10 years later.
Gee.
But he got killed in a traffic accident. Like I said, I didn't want to be the last one, but damn it, I am the last one. It's kind of a real lonesome feeling, fellas.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet. Yes. How can you go through all that and then get killed in a car accident? It just
Well, that's why
something doesn't seem right there.
No.
But you hear
Lord move
that?
in strange ways. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah. Well, so you signed up and you took off out of Plymouth. Where'd you go?
Parris Island.
You go to Parris Island?
Yeah, Parris Island. Then took advanced training at New River, North Carolina.
Okay.
And then took off from San Diego. Went down to the Solomon Islands. Now, have you guys got time for all
Oh,
this?
we got more time than what you can
Okay.
imagine.
Uh,
Well, tell me about Parris Island. What was Parris Island like?
Oh, buddy, some guy you thought you wouldn't. The first few weeks you thought you're going to die, and then the second few weeks you wished I had, or you wanted. You wished I had it, you know.
Or wonder why you haven't.
Yeah, afraid you're going to die, and the other you're afraid you weren't. That's what. And it's good if you got any weaknesses. They want to find them out there and wash you out, you know, because like I said, we ain't going to allow you guys to go overseas and break down and break up and lose a yard or a battle or jeopardize your comrades, you know.
That's right.
So it was hard to fathom then, but you understood it.
What's the toughest part about it?
The Marine Corps boot camp.
Yeah.
Oh, the schedule. Just about everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint what was the worst part of it, but he was lucky he survived the end of the day with the heat down there and the drills and everything where you flop on your cot, you know, and wondered if you're going to have enough feet to stand on the next day.
Mm.
Somehow you made it. You had to be young to do it. I know that now.
Yeah.
But over there in the, when we first went into the Solomons, got on Bonica, little island there, and then we...
Let's back up a little. We got time. We got plenty of time here.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, you went from Parris Island. Where'd you go from there?
Dago, and then shipped off from San Diego.
Okay, I thought there was one more stop where you did advanced training.
Well, yeah, Parris Island to New River, North Carolina.
Tell me about New River, North Carolina. I don't know much about that.
Well,
one.
had your advanced infantry training there.
Yeah.
And they formed you into replacement drafts. And then sent you to San Diego. Replacement draft was probably equal to one battalion, about 1,200 men.
Okay.
Then they assigned you to the divisions they was forming. And we were sent to the 6th Marine Division. It was a newly formed division.
And you went to Diego. What'd you think, San Diego?
Well, we really didn't have time to get a glance at it.
It's kind of look and go, huh?
Yeah.
They were really in a hurry to get
They
you
had
out.
us on that, that big Marine base there. Christ, my memory's zilch anymore, fellas. Camp Pendleton.
Pendleton, right? Yeah.
I couldn't think of it either.
And from what I hear, that's the only unobstructed beachfront in the whole state of California where they haven't built up on.
Huh. Yeah, I can't see them trying to put condos out there. They'd probably frown on that.
Boy, they'd eat that up property up in a hurry if they let it loose, you know.
Well, I'll bet they would.
And as far as I know, it's still there, but I haven't heard lately. Yeah, the march up the Solomons after the boys took Guadalcanal to Loggy. That was the
You go
first
straight.
division.
You went straight to the Solomons from there, or from Diego,
Well,
or
we lit in the Solomons after that was taken, Guadalcanal,
okay.
and we've been our advanced training there.
How'd you ship over?
Troop transport,
Troop transport.
zigzag. Man, it took 3 weeks to get there. Seasick? Wow.
We've heard a few of those.
All guys didn't get seasick, but majority of us did.
Yeah.
And I can remember we was about 3 decks below. And anytime anybody threw up, and that was plenty of times, you had to clean up your own mess, you know.
Yeah.
Man, I felt something coming up. So I held my hand over my mouth and run up 3 flights of stairs and Irked it up, swallowed it back down each time. And I got her back down, and she hit the bottom, come back up again, but couldn't, because I had my hand over her mouth. And then I hit the fantail rail and I let her go.
Yeah. Wouldn't be something if you got all the way up there and then you couldn't let go of it.
Oh, yeah, you did though. And that washed you out. You felt weak, you know.
Yeah.
Then saltwater soap. You like to take a shower and regular bar soap wouldn't do it. It wouldn't work in salt water. You had to get saltwater soap. And we didn't know that. And they thought they'd have fun with us. We got all soaped up, you know. It turned into gum when that salt water hit. So they finally realized, you know, the fun was over and give us some saltwater soap. Stuff wasn't too pleasant, but at least it made a few suds without gumming up like the regular bar soap.
Wonder
That's
how
something we didn't
it's
know.
different from regular bar soap.
It looked about the same, just
Yeah.
like your big laundry cakes. You used to get the for
Kind of
grocery
like
store. Yeah,
Kind of like lye soap, or
yeah, filled snap thin,
Yeah.
P&G.
Yeah.
But any invasion up the Solomons there, all them little islands, if they weren't big enough for a whole division, you know, they'd have raid battalions go in, hit the little islands, and they'd have briefings on decks of the ship, all of them, that were going to take part in that. And, groups of men, maybe 50 to 100, and a lieutenant or captain and fill in each group on what you're going to expect, you know, when you landed. He said, now you guys all had your shots. Malaria, typhoid, and a few others ain't worth mentioning. He says, but there's about 14 different kind of mosquitoes there, so we don't know what the hell the others are. He says, now you're going to run into tree leeches that drop on you and they can just sense your heat when you're going underneath them.
Yeah.
And land leeches and water leeches. And he says, if you wake up in the morning and you feel something like a hot dog on your leg or arm, he says, that's your blood, and that son of a bitch just swole up that big. You hear I'm swearing, fellas.
That's your story. It's your life.
you can say it any way you want to say it.
Yeah, there you'd suck that much blood, he's as big as a hot dog. You throw him down, you know, and then
Just
when
just
night
grab him and
come-
pry him off.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
Sometimes the head's stuck there and you pinched it out, you know. And after that, you kind of checked yourself over before you went to sleep at night, you know. And he says, tree leeches? Yep. He says, we've got, they give you a shot for bubonic plague, you know. That one about knock you to the ground. Because that was fairly prevalent over there in some places. That's a black death like they had in Europe, you know.
Yeah.
And he was explaining that you're going to run into mosquitoes, tree leeches, land leeches, water leeches. He says you got spiders there with the legs spread big as a good-sized dinner plate. He says you got centipedes a foot long. When they run over you, they'll leave a rash, even if they don't bite you. And I seen one of them. And he says we've got numerous snakes, and he says they're probably all poison. We don't even know what they are. The United States has never been a place like that, you know. And says you're just going to have to keep your eyes out. This one kid, he says, are there any questions? This one kid got up and says, yes, sir, Captain. He says, yes, sir, what do you got, bud? He says, why don't we just let the Japs have the damn place? That was my sentiments exactly.
So the first island you went into was which one?
In the Russells, Benica,
Okay. Benica.
and they had two there, Benica and another little dude. And I can't remember that. They were a whole couple miles apart.
What was Benica like? Is it kind of tropical?
Yeah, there wasn't much to
Palms.
it. That was our first experience with coconuts. And they had plenty of them there. Some guys crapped out on a coconut tree. Some of them fell down, hit them on the head, you know, with a husk on their head, you know.
Oh,
Damn.
gee.
He was about cuckoo for a few minutes there. So they learned not to do that.
Yeah.
And you're getting your tropical lessons in a hurry. Well, now, one other factor that they probably didn't know about was raised in the lower echelons of the high command was, it's endemic to the Pacific, was the practice, the assault troops going in for a landing, Salt Landing, they'd give them their last good meal, one they'd never even seen in service before. Each ship's locker had enough. They had steak, eggs, pancakes, potatoes, ice cream, and plenty of coffee. And I was nervous enough I didn't go for that. So a lot of us didn't, maybe 30%. We just had a little, maybe a pancake, and then the rest of it was coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah.
But some of the guys piled it down. When you're that young, you know, you can really inhale it.
Yeah.
And the ship surgeons and field surgeons screamed at the high command, "Don't feed these guys like this. Don't let them gorge themselves." He says, when these casualties start coming in, these gut shots, he says, we got to put them on the operating table, and the first thing we got to do is get 2 buckets and dollop out undigested steak, eggs, potatoes, pancakes, and coffee. And throw it in the bucket and have somebody dump it over on the other side. And that battle raged back and forth all the time. But it ended only when the Pacific War ended.
Yeah.
But, yep, some of them, that was the last good meal they'd have. They never had one that good while I was in service. And for some guys, it was the last meal period, you know.
Right.
But, what other phase you want to get into there?
Well, just kind of follow the path of where you went when you were in service.
Well, okay, let's see. We trained in Guadalcanal for a while, the whole 6th Division, and it was formed there. It was the last division formed in the Marine Corps, and the 29th Regiment was the last regiment formed in the Marine Corps. That's the one I was in. And it come time to, I think we left Guadalcanal about the time Iwo Jima was being invaded, you know.
Okay.
And we had orders to tear down every structure that was made. And they had some good ones made out of coconut logs, you know, and docks that Navy had built for unloading. Warehouses, everything. Wasn't a structure supposed to be left standing. The outfit in Britain owned the coconut plantations there.
Ah,
And they said they was going to charge the United States $10 for every tree that was destroyed during our invasion to get the chaps out. I wondered why we did that, and then I found out, you know. Why the hell tear down a perfectly good structure, but they did, and that was the reason.
Wow.
And then the long sea trip to Okinawa, stopped off at Mogmog, central point way out in the Pacific, you know. There wasn't nothing there. Some guys got shore liberty.
Yeah.
Just a few islands, sand islands, nothing growing on it. And they went in there and drank beer, you know. And I like beer, but I was so damn seasick I didn't want any.
No, I didn't need any more to help you.
And that was a rendezvous point for a lot of the ships gathering up for the invasion of Okinawa, because the slow dudes had to leave first from the States and other departure points, and then they'd get so far towards their objective, you know, and then the fast ones would be right there, and it wasn't nothing for them to keep up with it. And they all had to converge about the same time off the shores of Okinawa, and that was an accomplishment in itself. Somebody had to figure that all out, you know.
Oh yeah.
The LSTs were the slow dudes, and your transports were quite a bit faster than the LSTs, but you didn't dare leave none of the slow ones behind. And that was the same way it was with artillery barrages. The guns that were farther back and less velocity would have to wait, or they would fire first. Then the guns closer to the front with higher velocity, they would fire a few seconds later. That's what they called time on target. So all them shells arrived at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And I used to know the timing on that, but it's kind of fading anymore.
That's the first time I'd heard that.
Is it time
Yeah.
on target?
Yeah.
TOT, you heard that?
No, I've never heard of, I was in Vietnam. Yeah, never heard that.
Of course, Vietnam,
I was in
They probably had that a little more simplified then or something. But Okinawa, they had the greatest artillery barrage of the Pacific War. Naturally, that was a big place.
So was that your first invasion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How'd they get you jazzed up for it? Get you ready to go for it?
Really nothing. They didn't tell us that much. We didn't know where we were going till about a week before we arrived. I wonder where is that, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't know where Okinawa was, but just like the boys didn't know where Evo was or Pearl Harbor. And of course, the first day they landed, they was expecting a hellish opposition, you know, but they didn't. The Japs had learned not to try to defend at the beach because it was overwhelmed and they'd be overrun.
Right.
So they pulled back inland and suckered us in, you know. And 6th Marine Division, 1st Marine Division, 3rd Amphib Corps went north to secure that northern 2/3 of Okinawa. Resistance was lighter there, and the 24th Army Corps, they had 4 divisions, headed south. They really run into something there, you know. So after we secured the northern 2/3 of Okinawa, they had some desperate calls to get down here at the southern lines. The 27th Army Division was just about in full retreat. The Japs were breaking through the lines, so they rushed us down there in trucks, battalions at a time, you know. And 22nd Marines were the first to get there. And they were battling about a week before we could leave. And this one line, the Shuri Line, line, was a heavily fortified line. It was cleverly camouflaged, and they run into a firestorm there. You couldn't tell it till you got there. Nothing could pass it. So many guys got it there, you know.
It's not like the Siegfried line where you can see all the pillboxes and the dragon's teeth.
Not too much.
This was just all hidden. All of a sudden you were under fire.
Was smart. In these hills, you know, you couldn't see any fire coming out of them along the bottom edges. Or they put the gun clear back, 10 foot from the opening.
Okay.
That way you didn't see no blast, you didn't hear no report, or see any smoke. Now their range coverage was only so far. You know, if they'd put it up closer right out the hole, well, you had quite a bit of traverse.
Right.
But you also see the muzzle flash.
Yeah, and of course it made a rumpus inside that thing with their guns going off.
Oh, I bet.
And that fooled everybody. And I seen the guy next to me, Tompkins, when we made a rush to get to a new position there. He's a little ahead of me, and I looked over, and I seen 3, looked like somebody stuck an air hose, you know, his dungaree jacket. Them bullets coming clear through him, immersion. I seen that, you know.
Wow.
And it knocked him down. He was glazy-eyed. He says, "I'm getting the hell out of here." I says, "Get out of here, Tompkins." Last I ever seen the kid. Yeah, that's very vivid in my mind, seeing them bullets exit his back.
Wow.
I didn't see the bullets, so I just seen the fabric, you know,
Yeah.
just like take one air hose.
Yeah.
Do you happen to remember what his full name was?
No, Tompkins. And I've looked it up in our division book, you know, the wounded and the dead, and I can't find it.
Okay. I just didn't know whether you...
I want to, but
Sure. A lot of times you didn't
Well,
know
you
them by any more than their last name or by Indiana or Tex or...
well, in our platoons, yeah, we were pretty close-knit, and we knew everybody's name and where they was from, just about,
Okay.
you know. And I was about the only guy in Indiana from the 2nd platoon I was in, you know.
Yeah.
Then we knew we was running into a hornet's nest, and the 22nd Marines were getting so chewed up, they had to rush us up there in a hurry, you know.
Yeah.
And we spent 6 days in that line. We filtered in their lines early one evening, and they withdrew, you know. And then about 6 days later, we were getting decimated ourselves, so the 4th Marines came in and did the same thing to us. And I pointed out to some people, I says, Marine Rifle Regiment is composed of about 3,450 men. I says, but at the time we were through, we barely numbered 1,200. And of the 3 rifle regiments in the 6th Marine Division, the 4th Regiment, 22nd Regiment, and 29th, 2 out of every 3 fell dead or wounded. And the casualties in our platoon, our company, were 81%. Or our regiment, damn it. Or 81%.
Wow.
And we get replacement drafts in from the States, but never enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we withdrew from that line, when the 4th Marines relieved us, we went back for rest and replacements, you know. Replacement drafts were coming in from the States. We were getting some, you know, in the 1st Marine Division on our left to the east we're getting some. And we needed 22 to fill out our 54-man platoon. We got 9.
They probably were so green they probably didn't do
Couldn't
you
get
much
them there
good.
fast enough, you know. They couldn't give us enough replacements. They didn't realize what a meat grinder that was going to be.
Yeah.
And ever after that, we were never up to strength again.
Let's back you up. Let's fill in some of the detail here.
Okay.
You're telling me about the landing itself.
Well, there wasn't much to it, and after we found out there wasn't any opposition,
You just go down with cargo nets, or did they launch you off
Yeah.
of LSDs or something?
yeah. But
Yeah.
well, they did both. After they found out, of course, you had to get the LSTs up on the shore,
Yeah.
just about to open the ramp, the gates and the ramp, and let the stuff off. But they didn't do that till they had the beach secured. Well, there was no resistance to the beach anyhow.
So you just pretty much roared up there and
Mhm.
let the ramp down and walked off.
Some of them did.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't remember whether I went down the net that time or went out a ramp on a LST.
Yeah.
Some things escape your mind, you know. There's days I have complete blanks. I know nothing what happened.
Sure.
That's what happens in combat. You know, you're stressed out and shocked. And there's about 2 weeks separate. Week here and a week there, I have no recall. And, well, you try to fathom it, what happened there, you know, it's going, you just don't. You're on, what do I call that? Automatic mode.
Right.
Autopilot.
Yeah.
Autopilot.
So
yeah.
your guys went into the north end of the island, and there wasn't a whole lot of resistance there?
Not too much,
Not
not
too
as
much?
much as there was down south.
Okay.
And see, the Army had 4 divisions there, and they could relieve each other, 2 divisions in the line. And we only had 2 divisions. There
Right.
wasn't no relief for us.
Yeah.
And we just had to take a regiment. And that's why our casualties are so damn high. There's a lot of things that come out, factors that after the war you read about. I wanted to read about, know what was going on, why, you know.
Right.
Because the individual man in combat, he can't see what's going on 50 foot on the other side, each side, you know. You only see at your front. You don't know what the hell's
Right.
happening,
Yeah.
let alone the high command, you know. And I remember when we were moving up, the closer you got to the front, the stronger the stench became, or the dead. It was fantastic. And then we started running into a lot of dead. We run into a lot of dead scattered around. They weren't that thick, but boy, when we got up to close to the front lines, there they were.
Can you
Some
describe the
22nd.
can you just describe the terrain on the front lines? I mean, what were you looking at?
It was broken, level in spots, you know, with the hills. We were trying to take that Sugarloaf Hill and Half Moon and Horseshoe.
Okay. What kind of vegetation was it? A lot of bushes or trees or open?
Wasn't much there by the
Wasn't
time
much
we
there.
got up. you know.
Rocks or
Yeah, it was sort of volcanic formations and the escarpments and the hills, but they were mostly dirt or soil.
Right.
And we didn't, of course, we had our hands full, you know. I didn't pay much attention to the terrain.
Mhm.
Only once in a while to find a hole to dive in. And like I said, when we moved up there, the closer we got, the stronger that stench became. And they're the bodies of our 22nd Regiment boys and some Japs.
Yeah.
Just full of buckets of maggots, you know. They
Yeah.
just undulate.
Yeah.
If you were unlucky enough to take a dive shelter beside one of them rotten corpses, you could hear the maggots working. Swish, swish.
Huh.
Just
Yeah.
buckets of maggots, you know, and the stench was, god damn. And you always live in dread fear that mortar artillery shell landed near one of them, blowing that stuff on you, and it happened. And I got a little bit on my sleeve. And maggot laden rot, you know, and it's a stench beyond description. A dead man rotting smells worse than any hide or fur-bearing mammal on Earth. And we didn't know that. Young kids, you know, you seen dead in funeral homes, well, they look pretty passage.
Yeah, you don't think much about it.
But this was our first experience with worse than roadkill.
Yeah.
And it's a big shock to an 18-year-old kid. But somehow you surmounted it, then reality set in. And then you wondered, maybe in a few days I'll look like that guy over there, you know?
Yeah.
That always entered everybody's mind. And William Chip Manchester, I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, author, historian.
Author.
Yeah, he was our battalion runner. And after the war, he became professor adjunct of history at Wesleyan University, Middletown, Connecticut. And he later described this area we were moving into as an open sewer. He says, where 10,000 men faced each other, urinating, defecating, vomiting, dying, decaying, and all this being churned up by artillery and mortar shells.
Yeah.
With pieces of bodies both freshly killed and the ones that are rotted, pieces thumb size on up to individual arms, legs, heads, and torsos. And one military historian, it wasn't Fletcher Pratt, I can't think of who it was, he called this ground the human compost pile. It's a wonder us guys didn't come down with every sort of disease there was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that battle, that Sugarloaf Hill battle, it took a toll on the division. Neuropsychiatric, lost about 1,100 men. Lost their mind. That's the scientific term for combat fatigue, they
Right.
call it.
Yeah.
Combat fatigue. Shell shock in World War I.
Right.
And,
Sanitize it.
Civil War, they called it erythemia. They were suffering from nostalgia, they said. So they put him back, Civil War soldiers, put him back in the front lines. That's the way to cure that. And they said wartime psychology's theory on that was treat them and send them back up. A man doesn't have to be perfectly stable in his mind to serve in the front lines. That was their big-hearted dudes.
Yeah.
You couldn't get to the dead. I mean, you could hardly get to the wounded, you know.
Right.
You risk your life getting the wounded. The dead they're going to stay there. You know, that's why there's so many around rotting.
Mm-hmm.
And the stench would permeate your clothes, even after you were out of that area. And guys would say, God, I wish I could get your breath of clean air. You know, you're living with that stench all 24 hours a day up there.
For how long a time were you in that situation?
We were up there a week at one time.
Well, that'd be enough for me.
And they said some guys died never to breathe clean air again.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys didn't blow it up and rot like the ones I've described, you know. It's funny, the thin guys, your Slim Jims, you know, wiry, they didn't, in that environment, with the hot sun, they didn't blow it up. If they were hit, they usually bled out in a hurry. Then a hot sun would bake them, and they turned into just something like a crisp bacon rind, where you could pick one end of the guy up, like the board, you know, and he'd stiff and straightened out. And I dove in a hole during our move forward with so much automatic fire and mortars hitting around, right alongside one of these guys. And his pack was gone, his helmet was gone. The Japs infiltrated the night he got killed, stole that and everything. I could see his name on his jacket. Said 22nd Marines. I don't know if I should tell you his name or not.
I think you should, because somebody's going to want to know. Somebody in the family's going to want to know.
Would they or not? I've hesitated to give a lot of these names, but
That's part of the story.
I really think they would, John.
okay, Stransky,
Stransky.
22nd Marines, Connecticut. And I was sitting there talking to myself. Everybody in battle combat's a little nuts, you know.
Yeah.
Talking to myself, and I thought, well, there's a family in Connecticut waiting for a next letter, and there's not going to be a next letter.
Yeah.
'Cause I knew that, but they didn't. I felt a little guilty for harboring that knowledge. That thing, sort of thing sticks with you, you know, all the rest of your life. And I think the next day that area was laced heavily with artillery fire, and covered him up. Because during trips back and forth, different assaults, you know, and trying to retreating and going back up, I think he was covered up and gone. Another case of missing in actions. And
I wondered if they found out that he was dead, maybe he's still considered MIA.
I doubt it. He's probably missing in action. That ground over there in Okinawa now has been all flat up. These fellers want to put up with me. These fellers want to put up with me.
They want to put up with you, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
This is my wife, Jean.
Good to meet you. I'm Herschel
Ooh,
McCorkle.
your hands are nice and warm. I'm
Well,
cold.
we'll warm them up.
Feels good.
Gene, I'm Don McAllister.
John, you're the one that wrote to John?
Yes?
Right.
Jack Alexander.
Jack Alexander.
Glad to know you.
He's the guy at the camera.
Okay, well, not get me, get him.
But we'll get you later, man.
Oh, sure.
I'm swearing a little bit. I'm forgetting myself here.
Did you have coffee and something to drink, or
We're fine.
We're okay for now?
you sure?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Whip some coffee up
Have
there.
beer or pop?
No, we're okay.
Whenever, just tell me and I'll get it for
You can throw some coffee on. I can drink some probably.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out, point out the points of interest.
Well, one of the things that you can do is to put some faces on the people that didn't come back, and just like you just did, because somebody out there is going to be curious about it, and,
I've
and they're
had
going to
people
want to
tell me I
know.
shouldn't.
Uh,
And others say, yeah, go ahead, like you guys.
I disagree with that. I'm in my own situation. My great uncle was killed in World War I, and I would love to hear the story from the guy who was there with him in the shell hole.
Yeah, but just like in this here, I described Stransky's condition.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether they'd like to hear that or not, you know.
Yeah.
But you see quite a few of them guys, the slim rare ones, just dried out like a piece of bacon rind.
Yeah.
And that was weird. They had a pungent smell to them, but not like the festering corpses, you know, that bloated up.
Could you tell how he was killed?
No,
Couldn't
yeah.
tell?
I remember he's lying face down, not face down, laying on his stomach, and his head turned to the right. And there's that real blonde, light hair.
Huh.
Stransky, Polish kid. And the hair looked just as natural as it did probably the day he died.
Wow.
And that sticks in your mind too. I've been 1945, what do we got here? About 7 years this month. Yeah. First April invasion day. And I can still picture him like I seen him back then.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys I ended up with there for a while, J.J. Thomas, one night he was filming me on what happened on that Sugarloaf line. Andrew, should have mentioned this guy's name. He was hacked up with Samari sword. Jap officer hacked him up. He died screaming, you know. And he said they couldn't get to him in time. No, they shot the damn Jap down, you know.
Right.
But this guy, AB, was too hacked up, bleeding bad, you know. He died. Horrible death. Now, I didn't, in my story, I didn't put his name down. I just put AB. I don't know whether the family would ever like to know them details or not.
No, it'd be up to them to really take a look at it, but at least it would be available.
Well, do you want me to give him his name?
I wish you would.
Andrew Bolash. Andrewbolash. And well, we've had one generation, 2 generations since then. It ain't too likely.
Well, the family who immediately knew him and saw him in everyday life, they're probably pretty much gone by now, but
Mothers and fathers and siblings.
there's going to be a grandchild somewhere that's going to want to know.
Yeah, and J.G. Thomas told me about that. I was with him quite a few nights there, and of course you get separated, you know, you're with different guys in the squad and different guys in the platoon, you know, because there's no set balance on any assault and battle.
Right.
And then the amphibious landing on Oroka Peninsula that came after this mess. I described that one battle line as what we were moving into. When we were moving up to that front, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Now, you guys got time for this?
Yes, we do.
We don't plan on
Jack
being
didn't have to
home
be.
till late.
Jack didn't have to be to work till 8:30 in the morning, so
Okay.
and I've got the whole week off, and he's retired, so
I like to get this out, you know. A
Yes,
lot
sir.
of it you harbor over the years and just eats at you.
Do it.
yes, sir. Go for it.
Uh,
But don't give us anything that is just too hard to do for you.
no,
We're not here to
I'm
punish
over
you.
it. I'm over it. Ever since my buddy comrade Jimmy Hartley died, why, I got over it years ago, you know. Some guys do, some don't. I want to get it out and let it be known. Yeah, when we were moving into the southern lines there, company by company, you know, probably a few hundred yards apart at different times, our company was moving up, and we were probably a mile from the lines when there was an off-range stray enemy shell. We heard it singing towards us, you know, and we knew it was going to land clear over to our right, so nobody hardly bothered to duck. And it went off, hitting the ground, and we didn't think nothing of it. All of a sudden the column stopped moving, you know. When our section got up there, why, there was a guy laying down there dead. Hell, it was Van Order was his name. And he was a sergeant. And I thought, God, how ironic. The only atheist we had in the company, and the only one killed,
Yeah.
right at that time. And like I said, everybody's silent as hell. Trying to put that one together, you know, makes you wonder. The only atheist in the company, killed by that shell fragment that shouldn't even have got there.
Yeah.
Probably 100 yards off. And said, hey, everybody, the whole company get gathered up. Passed him by, as the last man in the company passed him by, we moved out of that period of time and into another oblivion for many of us.
Yeah.
And that was our first sad reckoning on the coming battle down south there. Like I said, when we got closer to that front, the stench got stronger all the time. And it was 95 degrees then, and we were moving into a charnel land, we found out. It was the stench and no let up, and the dead laying around, but just messes. And some of the guys, that was hard to take, but the Marine Corps boot camp and the rest of it condition you for that. Even though we did lose 1,100 out of the whole division on that one battlefront because of Christ, I can't even think what is combat fatigue.
All right.
But
That's it.
can't think.
We're talking about what used to be called combat fatigue and neuropsych cases.
War neurosis, the British call it, and neuropsychiatric, yeah. That's the medical term for it. Each war they were going to look into it, and then the wars ended, they just forgot about it.
Right.
So they suffered from the same thing each war.
Shell shock, combat fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Neurasthenia in the Civil War.
I never heard that term.
The Russians called it diseases of the soul. Civil War called it nostalgia.
Did you ever find yourself starting to slide in some of those situations? It had to have been awfully stressful mentally.
I knew if I lost it, I wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
So I had to keep myself going, because I knew if I went nuts, you're usually dead. And I don't know if I had another few weeks to go, I might have went nuts too,
Yeah.
But
So did you just fight it by being more engrossed in what you were doing, or?
yeah, I kept telling myself, you got to hang on to her, buddy. There's people counting on you, or
Yeah.
the guys need my help. But it got you after a while. All the old guys are gone, new replacements coming in. Got so you didn't even want to know their names.
Yeah.
Or where they're from, because like I said, their loss would be that much harder to accept. So you just didn't pay any attention to them. Told them what to do when you could. But yeah, here it is. Wartime psychiatry's objective was a prompt return to duty of wounded soldiers. A cure was hardly the point. Perfectly well-adjusted men were not required for combat.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your bureaucrats for you.
Yeah.
50 miles behind the line. Got it all figured out on paper.
Figure they're gonna get shot anyway, so why bother?
I got some data on some of the World War I stuff that would surprise people. Of course, you don't want that in here.
Oh, go ahead. It's an interesting piece of history. We'll include it.
Some of it is it don't go down good with I don't know if you want this in there or not.
We're here to collect the unvarnished truth and let folks deal with it as they will.
Number of American troops not responding to frontline commitment by hiding in dugouts and other places until fleshed out by threats of execution or being blown up by grenades in their hiding places. There were numbered around 100,000 men in World War I. This was bordering on desertion. I don't suppose anybody was aware of that.
That had to be a terrible shock in World War I. I mean, the culture had never seen anything like that.
That's right.
They'd come from such a polite society and well-ordered society that those guys probably saw it worse than anybody.
They one thing that they did in World War I, they adopted Marshal Pétain's Noria system. He decided to have that at the Battle of Verdun, which is probably the worst battle they ever fought.
Yeah.
Instead of leaving one division in the line until they were decimated and morale shot, he'd pull them out and put another division in. And which was a smart thing to do before they were shot up and their morale broke. And probably 2/3 of the French army fought at Verdun at one time or another. Well, the Americans adopted that when they got over there too. Pull one division out, put another one in. Between the wars, World War II, some Pentagon thinkers, I don't know where they got it, says, well, that's too much trouble pulling a whole division out of line with all their equipment, and all their records, and all their men, and putting another one in. He says, we'll keep the same divisions there and just keep adding replacements.
A replacement.
And when it ended up, just about like our division, the same guys that started the battle weren't the same ones at the end.
Right.
So that's what happened there, and that's why brought on this General Patton deal. This one guy he slapped in the hospital, you're all familiar with that. That poor dude had probably been on the front lines a month, no sleep, tired out, lost 20 or 30 pounds. He just couldn't go no more, even though he wasn't wounded. That's why Patton slapped him. And they put him in this hospital alongside wounded guys who were in better physical shape than he was. They were going to heal, you know. It was going to take a while to bring this guy around. It's like one man said, he says, courage is like a reservoir. You can keep pulling on it, pulling on it, pulling on it. Pretty soon it's empty, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to this guy, and many like him. It was not his fault. And now I don't know what they do. Of course, these short wars they got now, they don't need to leave anybody in the lines. There ain't no lines out there anymore.
Right.
But that's how that happened. It wasn't fair. If the same guy survived, they were just going to make him keep on going till what happened to this guy was the result. Couldn't even move or walk. Put him in the hospital, and Patton comes up and slaps him. You ask him, where was he wounded? He says, I wasn't, so I just couldn't go on. That's when Patton, with his riding gloves and riding crop, you know, and his chrome-plated helmet, and ivory-handled non-regulation revolvers, slapped him with his riding glove, you know.
Yeah.
The doctors and nurses jumped up and pulled Patton off of him. So they should have court-martialed the dude. No, not too many guys have much love for Patton. I found out. The boys in Europe, you know, you like to know what's going on there, too.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm getting off the track here. What,
Well, let's see. You went up in that one section where they were dug in so well, that line, it was just pretty much an invisible
yeah.
line of attack. How'd you wind up breaking that?
Artillery, flamethrowers, keep trying, you know. That's what took so long. It took about, 15 days for 3 Marine regiments to break that line.
Wow.
And the losses were stupendous. General Geiger and our division General Shepard wanted to move in behind, make a landing behind this position. And General Buckner, who was the head of the 10th Army, didn't want him. He wanted to keep hammering away. And they did it his way, and we paid dearly.
You think that would have done it if they'd come in behind them?
Yeah. We had them by the back.
So they were all pretty much facing one way, and there wasn't any way for them to turn around and direct fire on anyone behind them.
They could have.
Okay.
I mean, the enemy, the Japs?
Right.
Yeah, they could have. They had openings on each side of the hills,
Okay.
and each hill was joined by underground tunnels. And that's why it was so hard to figure it out. They didn't realize it was made to look natural on the outside, the surface. And that's what fooled people. And it fooled our high command. See, what else was it gonna?
Hear a lot about tunnel rats going in, and
Yeah, that
did
was
you have
Vietnam.
very much of that?
That was Vietnam, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, he's familiar with that.
Yeah.
No, we didn't go in any of the Japs' tunnels. If we had it, they'd have blew them shut themselves, you know. Well, I remember one night, after we got chased off this one with heavy losses, we thought we'd better withdraw before the wounded outnumbered the able-bodied to carry him, you know. And you hate it, fight that way up to that, have to pull out. And we went over to reinforce another sector of the front early one evening, and had to take cover, you know, because mortars and heavy automatic fire was lacing the whole place. I jumped in a hole. There's a lot of destroyed Sherman tanks around, you know. And I ducked down in front of the one right closest to me, you know. And thought, well, I got something that ain't unprotected from the back, even though I ain't from the front. And it was nose down in kind of a little gully, knocked out. And mortar fire was getting a little close. So I moved closer to the tank, you know. Like I wrote in here, it radiated heat. Because 2 and 3 days in the hot sun, that thick armor plate retained the heat all night, you know.
Right.
And I figured, dead crew inside this decomposing in that hot box, you know. And I wondered, like I said in here, even in the midst of my dilemma, I wondered what killed this mass of metal. And I looked up, there was a small hole right in the center of the glacis plate. That's a slope plate on the tank. It's curved to deflect shot. Hole right through that. I reached into the hole in my fingers, I remember, and I couldn't even feel the inside edge. Jap 47 millimeter anti-tank rifle put that hole in there. That's what stopped that tank. And they had a high velocity 47 millimeter. And all in fragments from the hull, you know, and the projectile itself, glancing around in the interior, killed them guys. And God, that would have been a mess trying to get them out of there.
Yeah.
You had to dip them out, you know. And on this Oroco Peninsula, yeah, I got to get things in order here. We made that landing early one dawn, and that was the last amphib landing in the war. We got in behind them, went on that peninsula instead of going inland and trying to get the peninsula at its heel, you know.
Right.
And the first night was weird. We knew there was Japs around. Well, me and my buddy Paulie were in a shallow hole. I was facing the front, and he was facing the back, you know. And it was just deep enough, come to about our waistline, legs straight out. Had a wire strung between us and the guys, the next foxhole to wake everybody up in an hour, you know, tree to watch back and forth, your turn to watch. Everybody's so dog tired you drifted off. And I looked at my partner Paul, he's pointing at something, his mouth's open and he can't say nothing. I turned around and looked, and here come the biggest Jap I ever seen. Built like a wrestler, you know.
Yeah.
And he was crying, sobbing like a baby.
Huh.
And, oh, God, that's weird. He must have got shell shocked or something, you know.
Huh.
And
Yeah, you don't hear them being shell shocked. It's always they commit hurry and it's,
You fellas
they
want a
broke
cup of
down
coffee
too,
yet?
didn't they?
what
You
say, Ma?
want a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I'll take it. He's got to have it black if he ain't got NutraSweet.
Oh, okay. 3 coffees?
I don't want one
You don't
myself.
want any?
Thank
You two want coffee?
I'll take one.
Okay. Black, both of you, or? It's kind of strong.
It's okay.
We like our coffee strong. I won't interrupt you anymore. I'll just bring your coffee.
Thank you.
So I got up right away. I couldn't get my BAR untangled. I had my 45, you know. And I stood up and said, "Hold it up, you SOB And God, he went panicky. You know, I probably looked like an apparition rising from the ground. And he turned, you know, and bam, that 45 knocked him down. I heard the breath go out of him when it hit. Damn if he didn't get up again. And, or he got up, yeah. I couldn't believe it. I hit him again, bam, about 3 foot farther down. He went down, he got up. I thought, I can't believe this. I shot him a third time in the back. And he went down. When he's down, I put 2 more in his rib cage here, boom, boom. He got up and jumped over the cliff.
Gee whiz.
And that 45 had knocked him down. Most of them stayed down, but that guy, he was going on shock value or something,
Yeah.
you know. And I got to thinking about that, and like I said, it's about the only enemy I halfway felt sorry for after the war, you know, get to thinking about it. And a little farther on down that line, well, the next day, we were on a ridge overlooking this one ridge to take this coral line Snake Hill, Snake Ridge they called it, because it was running contour, vine covered, you know, coral formation. Boy, it looked weighted. And we could see some enemy activity over there. And I thought, they're going to have us assault that. We're going to lose half our guys. And here come 2 naval officers. One with a sending and receiving radio, a nice white enamel radio. The other one had a rangefinder.
Huh.
One of them 2-prong deals, you ever
Yeah.
see them on a tripod? Thought, hot dog. He says, we're from the heavy cruisers out there. You show us where you want that stuff laid in. We, goddamn, that's going to be beautiful. 8-inch out there, a couple cruisers. One of them was the Bremerton, I think, or the Pensacola, and the other one we didn't know what one was. And they set up the radio and rangefinder, and we was pointing out places, and all of a sudden, and the machine gun opens up and hits the coral ridge above us, you know. A lot of sonic cracks. You ever hear how a bullet cracks when it hits something hard? And coral flying around. This one naval officer, they both had brown uniforms on. Some were brown.
Table over there if you like. You don't? Okay.
They took off and ran. That one naval officer says, I'm getting the hell out of here. And his buddy had already left him. We couldn't believe it. Our Joe ought to be Cherokee Indian in our
There's a few goodies if you want them. I'll put them over here on the table.
Okay, thank you.
locale.
Yep.
Well, he can't have them.
Yep.
Each diabetic.
Both of us are.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
Okay, right there behind you. Yeah, them guys took off. They left that radio there and that rangefinder. And the Cherokee Indian in their squad went running after him. He's going to kill him. He couldn't find him. They outrun the Indian.
Wow.
And I told about that in a couple things I wrote. I said maybe at this late date somebody can put a answer to this. Gunners out there on the cruisers waiting to push the buttons and no response. I wonder what kind of a story they told when they got back. Where's your radio? Where's your rangefinder? Why didn't we hear from you?
Yeah.
They should have been shot. They're the same as deserters.
No kidding. They
So we had to take that hill next day, and we paid for it dearly.
Mm.
That's where this new replacement kid from Indiana. I was the only guy in the squad from platoon from Indiana. We got a replacement in Carl Sproat from Carlisle, Indiana, a little town. You know, that's it. He was behind me when he started to assault the top of that ridge. He's only about 3 foot behind me. And we getting some fire, and I heard something go whack. I looked around, there's Carl, flip. I grabbed him by the foot, keep him slide down the hill.
Yeah.
Got him turned around. I thought, where in the hell did he get it? hot damn, you got a bullet right here, below the nostril, above the tooth line, that come out back here at the base of his skull.
Oh, gee.
And Joe ought to be the Indian, opened his mouth, forked all his, what was left of his roof of his mouth out in his teeth, you know, so he wouldn't choke on him. And I got him under the arms, gonna carry him. I thought I'd better stick this thumb in that hole so he could breathe out his nose. He's breathing out here.
Yeah.
Weird. And so we carried him down the hill. Joe had him by the feet, and I had him by under the arms. And halfway down the hill, Carl started swearing at me. And like I said, here's this kid from southern Indiana with a slight drawl. He's got the roof shot out of his mouth, half his teeth going, and he's cussing me out in perfect English. I was stepping on his hands.
Oh, gee.
That's what it was. I says, Carl, can you fold your arms on your chest? He responded like that. We got him down the hill, laid him down there alongside some others at the bottom, and made sure this side was down so we could, the blood would go out of that and not in his system. Well, that's the last I ever saw of the guy. And I'll fast forward a little bit in this division reunion. About 1990, I wasn't there, but they got to talking about that Oroka Peninsula campaign. And somebody says, Carl, was you there? And he says, yeah, that's where I got hit. And he says, where'd you get hit? He said, told him right here and here. It's visible if you look at it.
Yeah.
He says, well, hell, I'm the corpsman that found you. They had you in the dead pile. And he says, I went past you and I seen a bloody bubble rising and receding from your mouth.
Yes.
Breathing. So he says, I dropped down, took your pulse. I says, hey, this guy's alive. Get him out of here. And they got to talking, and they said, Harry Murray was the corpsman's name. Hell, he only lived 20 miles from Carl down there. It's Carlisle, Indiana.
Awesome.
And
Oh, wow.
a coincidence? Geez.
Wow. Ultimate Hoosier hospitality.
That's an oddity.
Yeah, it's funny things happen. But I didn't know that, you know. And after the war, 10 or 12 years, I got to bother me. Did he make it? Did he make it, you know? And so I started scouting out county courthouses south of Indianapolis. I knew it was a small town south of Indy someplace. 2 summers I did that. I give it up. Finally got smart and wrote into the Marine Corps Records Bureau in Albany, New York, and they told me the last record they had of Charles John Sproat, he was received his last muster and out pay in Sullivan, Indiana. He'd moved up there from Carlisle. Well, I knew he made it. And I went down to see him, took the kids down to Springfield, Illinois to see Lincoln's tomb and all that. Got over into Indiana, went down to Carlisle, asked people around there. They was really interested in that story. He says, you the guy? I said, well, I guess. He says, well, Carl moved. I thought, oh, Christ, on the West Coast someplace, I suppose. He said, no, he just moved up here to Sullivan. I suppose that's 12 miles north of Carlisle, something like that.
Pretty close.
So they said, we'll call him, tell him you're coming. And we were on our way up Indiana, 41 is it?
Nice, 41.
And Carl was waiting on me. He thought I was a con man trying to sell him something when I come in, you know. He looked at me real weird. And I guess I didn't have much finesse. I went back, I remember felt that. I says, yeah, that's where you got it. That hole in the back of your neck, you know.
Yeah.
And he looked at me. And I said, Carl, I'm the guy that carried you down the hill. Then it all started coming back to me. But a little bit before that, everything's kind of blank, you know, in Carl's mind, which is natural.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the night before, I asked Carl, I says, well, you remember that banzai attack that night? And he says, oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, I says, well, that was the night before you got hit. And we lost about 20 guys out of our company assaulting that Snake Ridge. It was a wicked job. And it wouldn't have been that many of them naval corpsmen would have stuck by that rangefinder and radio.
Well, it seems like
Got
you could have brought somebody else up to handle that job. Wow.
I never. They had their summer brown uniforms on. They was lollygagging around just like there wasn't no danger, you know.
Yeah.
And one time on this Sugarloaf line, Manchester was telling about a lull in the battles, you know, and a couple Army officers come up there, you know, while the guys were in their holes in their trenches, says, "Where's this front line supposed to be, you guys?" Guys motion up there. "Yeah, what's the matter with you guys?" You know, this and that. Says they took about 20 steps and they both got it. Machine gun got them both into just about. Manchester called that story the execution of the two pricks. That's how he's got it in that one book. The flies, oh yeah. I was in a hole. You guys want me to get all this in? First hole I dropped into on the way up there when the shelling got bad, when moving up that Sugarloaf line, across what they call that Death Valley. I dropped in a small shell hole and there was a leg, Jap leg from the knee on down with the shoe still on, you know, laying alongside there. Flies on it and flies on me, you know, and like I said, after a while the aroma got annoying, you know, so I got my shell trenching tool and covered it up, you know, threw a few inches of dirt on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't about a minute later, them flies, an inch long, had that uncovered.
Huh.
So I covered it with a good foot of soil the next time and patted it down. That one, last time I gave it a pat, shot out the opening. God damn, dumbass. Some of that squirted out rotten pus, you know, off the.
Oh,
If you dumb. And damn, it hit me on the side. It just missed my mouth, you know. That was rough.
Yeah.
Like I said, the flies were the only living things that prospered there. Then I left that hole. After the shell let up and was trying to move forward, and now was that same day or the day after, I jumped in another shell hole. There always had to be a corpse in it. I don't know why. I just about lit in that dude. But he was freshly killed enemy, you know. The uniform was new and he wasn't rotten or nothing. And the only thing you could see on him was his undamaged face covered in undamaged empty skull. So I said I could see the white lining of the skull interior through his empty cavernous eye sockets, you know,
Yeah.
like a perfectly crafted jack-o'-lantern looking at me.
Huh.
I said, of all the dead, we were surrounded by this and made me uneasy, so I rolled him over and didn't have to gaze at him anymore. And everything was out of his head, just hollow. And what that's caused by is the implosion factor. Did you ever hear of that term?
No.
After a big explosion, spent, you've got a super vacuum here. Air rushes back into that, you know. And if you're close enough to that, a big enough blast, it's going to suck things loose. And that's what sucked all his brains out.
Gee.
And some of our guys had something similar. I seen some of them that had their lungs sucked out, you know, and laying on their, sticking out of their mouth, you know. And some of them really had it sucked out laying on their chest. And we were a while putting that together. Then we found out that was because of the implosion factor. So you got three things in a big high-powered blast. You got the blast effect, blow stuff apart, and the detonation. Detonation comes before the blast, you know. I suppose you guys have seen pictures of bombings in Europe.
Yeah.
You see that white flash that precedes the blast? That's the shock wave. It's supersonic shock wave, then the blast. Now you don't see it all the time. Weather conditions got to be pretty just about right to see that, you know. Well, that's the detonation. That comes first, and then the blast. And of course the implosion factor. And people are killed by all three. But usually if they're up above ground level, the detonation even a little below blast level, the detonation will kill them, you know, that's a hell of a shock on the nervous system. Yeah, it was a while putting that together. Made some weird looking corpses. And, what else? Oh yeah. One night me and J.J. Thomas were on a ridge. We couldn't see any of the rest of our squad on either side of the platoon. Like I said, we'd hoped somebody was there. And we was by ourselves. And here come 3 Japs coming around this one small area here. And we were on a high up on this ledge. We couldn't see down, you know. And Christ, we think they stopped down below us, you know. Well, I threw 3 grenades down. None of them detonated. Thomas threw 5. Or rolled them down.
Right.
None of them detonated. He said, uh-oh, we're in trouble now. And we was getting ready to battle them off, you know. We didn't know how many was going to be there. Besides them 3. Then we heard shots and hollering far down to our right. They must have got them down there. You know. They didn't hit us. I don't think they seen us. The next morning we got off the ridge line, you know, before it got light, and went down to that hidden area where a case of hand grenade cases were, and we looked at that one case where 8 grenades had been taken out. That's the 8 we had, all duds, and the other 16 were in there. Them's the ones we got our duds out of, so we took all the 16 of them, threw in a shell hole. Every one of them's a dud.
Gee.
I was looking at Thomas. I didn't dare tell him. It said Evansville Ordnance Plant, Evansville, Indiana. I didn't want to.
Oh. Oh man.
Oh, man.
Man, why?
You imagine how many guys could have been killed by this?
It was, we're like I said, we were too mad to be disillusioned, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, too disillusioned to be mad. I
Yeah.
thought, God damn. That was the day after these officers took off. And it makes you think you're fighting the whole damn war by yourself, you know, and nobody gives a damn. Dud grenades. I never told anybody about them being from Evansville, Indiana. I was way ashamed of my home state. I gotta take a trip too, fellas.
Good.
Real. Even though going through something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Ma,
Yeah.
you want to get me one of them muscle relaxers?
Yeah.
This son of a bitch hitting again. That ain't on the record, is it?
No.
Yes, it is.
Old buddy.
That's on record.
That one is anyway.
You know, I can take it off if you want me to.
Oh,
though.
it don't matter. Do you guys think it's all right?
Yeah. People come to this with
I got
sensitive
something
ears.
nobody else has got. I got to be exclusive.
Congratulations.
It's on that stand by the little radio thing.
Come in.
Howdy.
That's my youngest son, Bard.
All right, reach for
Ready
this
to close the
guy.
door?
Where are they, John? I don't see them.
Over there by the radio.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, go ahead.
This one?
Muscle relaxer. Ain't that right
You
there?
guys,
This one
Is
here.
that it?
Yeah. I think they're rough.
where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?
Over here?
No, on that little box by
I
the
just
radio.
grabbed it first.
Oh, okay. I didn't think this was it. I wasn't sure.
They're taking my story as much as I can bring it together, put together. Give him a glass there, will you, bud, on the table?
Yeah. You want this light or is that screwed up camera?
No,
No,
that'll
that-
follow him up
That's
there.
right in the lens.
Might want, if you want to turn the one up there on.
No, I
I
just
got
wondered.
coffee, Gene.
Oh, you're gonna take it with coffee?
Yep.
Okay.
That one over the table would probably help us out.
What's that, bud?
The one over the table would probably help us out. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
that's a good light.
Yeah, that
I
worked.
mean,
That-
you
Yeah,
want this
that's
off
right.
or not?
No,
No,
that's,
that's fine,
that's
that's
good,
fine.
okay.
that's fine.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
You
It's
gotta
getting
get out of
dark
the way
for
and
the,
be quiet.
don't have the
yeah,
sunshine.
we're not getting the sunlight.
Right.
Probably see us coming with that guitar. It's like, no audition.
Busy like that.
That's my daughter's.
on down farther south in the island. In the meantime, my shoes had wore out. I was trying to find a pair of shoes off of one of the poor dudes that didn't need them no more. A lot of them were rotten, you know, I couldn't. I finally found a pair, but you know, I can't remember taking them off that guy and putting them on. Just one of them silly blanks in your memory, you know.
Yeah.
But I finally got a pair of shoes, and mine were just coming apart. No socks. I mean, socks were a thing of the past, because you just ground them up into little rubble, you know, when you take your shoes off. And we were setting up a line one night. We didn't move. When it got dark, we stayed put. The Japs knew their territory, and we didn't want to move around and get shot by your own men, you know. Or,
Right.
this ground was fairly level, had some brush on it, this and that. And it was relatively quiet. We thought too quiet to be good, you know. And meanwhile, a runner come down back. I was saying infiltrators, you know, going on down the line. And he didn't have far to go because we was on the extreme left. So I sat down there, leaned back against a hump of dirt with a Browning automatic rifle. That's what I carried. Elbows on my knees, you know, and waiting. I seen some shadows, silhouettes over here about half block to my right, I imagine. A little over 100 yards out. And they dodge behind the brush every once in a while and then take off. And there was a big brushy spot right in front of me there. I thought, well, I'm going to have to be ready. So I waited. Sure as hell, they took off and got in front of that open area there where I could see them in the moonlight. I got it for about 3 or 4 rounds, and before I could release the trigger, the silhouettes blew up. They was all carrying mortar rounds. I must have hit them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So next day we went up there and seen that mess, you know. And you find there's men and women, pieces of bodies, you know, and this and that. A few of the mortar rounds hadn't gone off. But I must have hit one, and that wouldn't have happened, you know. And it was the night before the same thing happened, only there were just 2 of them, you know, and they were all about the same distance out, 100 yards or over. And I would sit in the same position with elbows on my knees, waiting. One figured get up and run, then the other would. And when they got in front of that open spot, this was farther on down the line. I'm getting you fouled up, fellas. I fired at one that dropped, and I didn't know if I hit her or not. Then the other one got up, and I fired, and that one dropped. So I didn't see any more movement. And next morning, when it got light, we moved forward and went up there and seen that, and it was both women, both dead. And I said, all of a sudden my pride in my marksmanship was shattered.
Wow.
And then a second lieutenant just come in from the States, says, who shot these women? I told him I did. He says, I'm having you court-martialed. Okay. I was only a private. He couldn't bring me down any rank, any lower. And then one of the guys in the squad come back and says, hey, these women got hand grenades strapped all around her waist. The lieutenant went over and took a look and took off. We never seen him again. And yeah, we killed the civilians too. They was like that. They weren't. We didn't want to kill innocent ones, you know, but these 2 batches weren't innocent. And that second batch, when that blast blew up, I was intent and sight, you know. I had my eyes wide open there in the dark, and man, I couldn't see nothing for a while after seeing that blast, you know. And it's a wonder we didn't get a piece of that all over us.
Yeah, really.
But
Who's your BAR assistant?
who was my assistant?
Right.
William Pauley. Mm-hmm. Yeah, their belt, the assistant BR man's belt, you know, had 4 packs of M1 and 4 of BAR magazines, you know. Every time I'd empty a magazine, Paul says, "Here, have one of mine." He's getting his belt lighter, you know. I thought, "Paul, let me use it." I says, "If I get hit and you're away from me," I says, "you take the BAR over, you wouldn't have any magazines." Every time he turn around, he had one stuck in my face. Or use it. Stick the empties back in his pocket. William Pauly.
Get rid of the wheat.
He's president of the 6th Marine Division now.
That's good.
And Jumpy Kid, damn. He got hit on the thumb and something on this Snake Ridge, that same one where, deserters, naval deserters were in the big ball in his yap. In the bum grenade area. He, what the hell was that? He got hit a day after Carl Sproat got this, and Paulie was a jumpy guy. He just, and then down there at the division reunion at Springfield, or Cincinnati at, I can't remember, Fort Mitchell, where they had that reunion. We had a Company F reunion there all by ourselves, just our company who was left, you know. And who did I sit down beside with bald-headed William Pauly? You know. And I said, he's jabbering their way there, and the waitress brought the salad, you know, and he's gesturing this way and that. And he went like this, bang, he hit that salad, and I just seen that thing. Oh boy, I said, "Paulie, you're still the same jumpy son of a bitch you were."
And how long was this after?
After I seen him last,
Yeah.
50 years.
So he gets you 50 years later.
Oh yeah. Mhm. The only thing he was different was he didn't have no hair. Damn.
No disrespect to Mr. Pauly, but,
William
but
Pauly.
I get this picture of Don Knotts in the Marine Corps.
Oh yeah, that'd be something too, you know. There's probably a lot I forgot, you know. I can't. I said there's blanks, days it's blank.
Yeah.
I asked the other guys that, you know, and Hartley finally come up to see me. He and I were the only ones left of the original company when I was over. The guy and his mother sold him for $1,100. And I said, "Jim, I can't drive. I got lost one eye, macular degeneration." And so I'll come out and see you. "Okay, buddy." So we set a date. He says, "I'll go at the Holiday Inn." I said, "Well, you call when you get there and I'll lead you down here." So one afternoon he called. He got here a day sooner than I thought. It was okay, so I got in the car, went out and Holiday Inn, parked it and looked around. There he was over there. I run over and give each other a big hug, you know. I looked at him and says, "Hell, you're taller." He says, "Well, I grew 4 inches, Johnny." He says, "I wasn't done growing yet when I seen you last."
16-year-old kid.
Yeah. I says, "Well, I remember you said you was only 16, damn it." That was a surprise to see him that way. Yeah, we put a few things together. I remember stuff that he didn't, and he remembered stuff that I didn't. He's telling me about them artillery barrages. We went through 2 different times that night. Hollering over, "Johnny, you all right? Jimmy, you all right?" Between blasts, you know. We couldn't move because they're laying them real deep behind us. They sent us too far forward. They did that twice. Then when dawn come, we had to get off of there. The barrage let up. There were some of the guys, you know, in our platoon. You see them laying there. The lungs sucked out, you know. I thought, God damn. We dug little holes to put our face in so we could breathe, you know. Stuck our face right down in them things during the barrages. And that might have been what saved us. Because them blasts went off, you know, had trouble getting your breath. The detonation didn't knock some of it out of you. You know, the implosion factor would suck it out of you. And so we learned a while to dig little holes and put our faces in them if the soil was soft enough to dig. Boy, you can dig concrete when you're getting something like that, I think. But yeah, I often wonder how I made it. Well, just like this, you got this listed survivor syndrome. Oh yeah, during the first battle, both my lower wisdom teeth decided to emerge, you know.
Oh, good.
So that kept on all through the coming battle, but you know, I didn't even notice them. Had other things to worry about.
Yeah.
There's so much I'd probably tell you I forgot about. I'm sorry it's in rambling order, not in sequence.
Well, that happens. We try to get it in some kind of sequence because it makes it a little easier to figure it out. But if some fellow remembers something else, we let him go with it because we don't want to cut that off.
Yeah.
A lot of times we come back and we pick up stuff.
Now some guys can't even remember what they did, you know. I mean, it's like her brother. Hell, he's in the Army. He didn't know what the hell. He can't remember what regiment he was in or what company or platoon. Or, well, I said, how the hell are you going to let him know if you want to have a reunion? He says, you know, I don't think they've had one. I said, well, write to somebody and find out. But there's a lot of guys that just don't give a blink, you know.
Right.
They don't want to remember.
Mm-hmm. And I can't shake it. No, it doesn't bother me telling you about it, you know. I just, a lot of times, people won't believe some of this, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But, by God, it's the truth. And that one night, I was in this dugout with a kid named Johnson. He was in the machine gun section. The machine guns were all burned up. They didn't have none, you know. All he had was a sidearm 45 automatic like I did, you know. And that might be hard to understand. The machine gun sections didn't have any guns. That's just how...
You say they're burned up. I mean, was it a matter of just having to give it a chance to cool down, or
just worn off. Yeah, a little bit of that, and
or just
worn out. And,
couldn't use them at all?
No, and some of them got shot. The shell splinters hit them. The sad state of affairs when a machine gunner, all he's got left is 45 automatic, you know. But that held us in good stead that one night when them Japs were starting to infiltrate our lines. And you'd hear them out there shouting. This is before we made the assault on this Snake Ridge that next day. And we heard a mix of sounds out there and knew something was up, maybe 100 yards away. And then you heard them. They spoke out in English, you know. They sound like puppets in a Punch and Judy show. They says, U.S. Marine, tonight you die. U.S. Marine all dead tomorrow. So they're gonna come at us, you know. And I had my BAR ready, but the easiest thing to do, that 45. And I must put through 3 magazines through that thing. And I had one in my mouth, get ready, you know, instead of putting it in my pocket to dig or in the pouch. Right here, buddy. And 45 holds 7 rounds in the magazine, but if you chamber one, then put the magazine in, you got 8, you know. And there's plenty of times we needed that. And Johnson piled up about 5. We heard him coming, and we hollered back, mortar flare, you know. 60 millimeter mortar to throw a flare up in the air so he could see. I just about didn't get him there in time. The time we did see him, they were just about on us, you know. Yeah. Next morning, things were pretty quiet that night. I told Johnson, I says, hey, we had two replacements on the other side of him. And one of them was sitting down there with his head on his hands and knees, you know, folded up. And I told Johnson, I says, hell, wake that guy up and tell him the night's not over yet, jeez. And Johnson shook him, and
Right over.
he was dead, and so was the guy next to him.
Gee.
And that's
Odd
just how that
position.
happens, that close to you, you know.
Yeah.
And dawn come, and we looked out there. Well, before that, before dawn come, just a little starting to get light. I seen his head emerge over that pile of rubble, you know, we were behind, you know. At that dam. Yeah, it was helmeted head. Oh, blam! And the blast echoing off that helmet, you know, and looking right at it with your eye. I was blinded and deaf there for a little bit, ringing ears and blurry eyes. I just told Johnson, I says, keep an eye out. I can't see or hear a damn thing for a while. And he says, okay. So, next morning, dawn come, we looked out there, there wasn't a damn one of them. They'd come and pulled their own dead away. That's just how slick and devious they were.
Gee.
And even though we was strung up and alert, there was moments that's probably when they got them, you know, we weren't
Yeah.
noticing it. They were quiet. And I had something on my sleeve. And I looked, Jesus. Johnson agreed with me, it was brain tissue. It was on the damn 45, you know, on my sleeve. I did my damnedest to get it off before it started rotting in the hot sun, you know. And I think it did, I don't remember. That's just how close that come.
That's close.
Yeah, that
You're
echoed
right
off
on
of that
it.
helmet, you know, just resonance.
Oh, my God.
Man.
You kind of get the idea how it would, that close, just about this far from you. First thing he knew, he didn't know nothing. They even drug him away. They got his headless corpse away. And then you start wondering, did all this happen? You start thinking, it's weird. Am I in a damn dream or nightmare? But that happened over there a lot. They were slick. Chaps were good soldiers. Made them tough to fight. I'm trying to think of something else you might. There's so much I don't know. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't get it in sequence. But that's the way things seem to go over there, out of sequence.
When did you finally get to the point where you realized it was over?
Yeah. We went back after hitting the southern edges. We got a lot of prisoners, a lot of civilians. And we were herding civilians back, you know. We had to get back up farther where the LSTs were. It was going to take us back to Guam. And there's a couple Japanese women started talking good English, and a man too. They got stuck there when the war started, and they were from the United States.
Huh.
And right good down home English, you know. And wouldn't have believed it if somebody went wild, they'd have killed a whole bunch of them, you know. But there might have been some soldiers with different garb on in the groups too. We didn't know it, but they wouldn't get far. And I got on this LST. Each company got on an LST. Easy Company and Fox Company, Eyes and Fox Company. And I had Indiana Road on my back. And so did Snyder and Easy Company.
Yeah.
He had Indiana Road in his back. And he got in the LST next to us. And I didn't know this till about 6 months after. There was from Plymouth, a kid from Plymouth, Russ Steiner, says, "Hey, Indiana, where are you from?" He says, "Anderson." I says, "Where are you from?" He says, "Plymouth." He says, "We got a guy from Plymouth right over there in that LST getting Bordeaux." And Russ says, "Who?" He says, "Speheger." Russ went to the rail and hollered and hollered. Of course, nobody could hear nothing, you know. And I didn't know that till, about 6 months after it happened, you know. Somebody told me, or wrote me a letter about it. That's how close you come.
That's that Gail Snyder you were telling me about?
Yes, yes. Did you ever find
I
anybody?
didn't see a thing. I looked in the phone book, couldn't figure out anything. There
I
might
wonder-
be somebody around the VFW or something, but no.
I've called down there and called, and I got a hold of one guy, his name Gail Snyder, and he says he's still mad at his folks for naming him Gail. There's a 60-year-old man that's still PO'd. But now Gail, you spell a boy's name G-A-I-L, don't you? And the girl's G-A-L-E?
I believe so. I don't know.
I can't remember which
I
one
don't
is.
know- I don't remember which way.
I don't either.
But Snyder's spelled so many different ways.
Yeah, it is.
S-N-Y, S-N-I, and
And I think it's
C-H.
S-N-I-E-D-E-R. But one of them reunions down at Evansville, Indiana, they had a small reunion down there, 81 mortar guys, and I don't know why I went to that, but there were a few linemen down there, infantry company guys, and one was Bud Johnson from I think it's North Carolina. And I says, "Is there a Bud Johnson here from Easy Company?" He says, "Yeah." I says, "Did you know Gail Snyder?" He says, "Oh, you come there." Yeah, he says, "Hell yes, I knew this silly." he was a jumpy guy. He threw some grenades out one night. It only landed about 3 foot in front of the hole.
Oh, no.
And
No wonder he's jumpy.
he says, "That damn Snyder, he made it all through the campaign just like I did." And towards the last, this might have not been Snyder's fault. We got some new grenades in. The old ones, you had the spoon, pull the pin, let the spoon off, or you throw it in the air and the spoon would go twang, or you could let the spoon off in your hole, wait a second, and then throw it. But it had a cap on it. When that little hammer hit that cap, it made a pop. And the Japs could hear that, and they could see it burn through the air at night, the fuse. And they could get out of the way, or if they got it in time, they could throw it back at you. So we got some new grenades in that were silent. You pulled the cap out and let the pin off. There was no sound or no flash or nothing. And the fuses were cut down to 2.5 seconds. So a lot of the guys, they didn't tell us. They got a hold of them things. Some bitch is a dud. I didn't see it snap or pop, and they just threw it out the hole. Blam,
Gee.
So word got around finally. Look at that case. Why the supply idiot didn't tell somebody these are new grenades with the fuses cut down from 4 seconds to 2.5. Because we were getting a lot of them thrown back at us, So that's why you'd wait.
Right.
Count to 2 and then chuck it. And that might have been what Snyder was throwing away. I don't know. But I never heard anybody being killed by them things, thinking they were dud and just tossing it alongside. But it seemed like there would have been. But that's
I
how
think so.
fouled up things are, during war. Snafus.
Do you have any idea if Gail Snyder might be a Catholic?
I don't believe.
I know some Snyders are Catholic.
You could ask him.
Yeah.
Because if there wasn't too many in Anderson, he might not have went back there after the war.
Would be.
I tried to catch up with a lot of these guys. Now my grandson says if we go on line with this thing, he can get a line on my buddies, but they all are dying off, I finally got a hold of one, and his son-in-law said, "Carl, Sanders died here last year." And I thought, God, if I'd only called sooner,
Yeah.
He was vice president of the Palmetto State Bank in Aiken, South Carolina there. Nicest kid you ever want to see. He got shot. Oh, he was alongside me about 10 foot away, right through here, broke the arm, bone. They took him away. He walked back to med-aid evacuation, holding his arm like this, you know. It's the last I seen of Carl. And I had his book here, a Browning automatic rifle book. I don't know how I ever happened to get that. There's Carl's name on it. Since I found out he had a relation down there. I called one time, and who answered the phone was his son-in-law, who didn't give a blink about nothing, you know. Okay, I'll tell her, you know. So he told Sandy's daughter, and she called me. I said, I'm going to send you this book along to Carl. She seemed to be highly appreciative, so I did. I insured it all to pieces. Put about $15 insurance on it. Value like that is invaluable. Well, they didn't get it. I didn't hear from her. And you running out?
Yeah, we're running out.
You got off the island. As you were getting off the island, Okinawa,
Mm-hmm.
did you say to yourself, gee, this is just some sort of a dream? This isn't real.
Well, I was trying to
too
put
tired.
trying to put it all together. Just
Yeah.
how the hell did I make it? You know, and
Yeah.
because a lot of the guys he was with that got killed, some died silently, some died screaming. You know, and that's something you don't forget. You go along, and make some assaults, and all of a sudden your buddy that was alongside you isn't there anymore. Well, you got hit back there, you know, he's done. You didn't even notice it. Well, you can't go back.
Right.
Look for him. You got to keep going. We wasn't even supposed to help our own wounded. But we did Carl Sproat, you know, when he got hit there, and we carried him down the hill.
It's amazing he survived that.
Yeah, it is. He luckily he went through several surgeries, you know, trying to get a roof in his mouth. He says before that he could take him off full of penis and blow him out his nose, you know. So they tried a pedicle graft, what they call a pedicle graft. Blew a hunk of bologna off his chest here, you know. Just like a big hunk of bologna. And after it got going, they transplanted it to his mouth. There the poor dude was that way for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Well, they thought the graft was taken. So they cut it off here, cut it off there. And the graft died.
Oh, gee.
So as a young surgeon, he thought, well, I'm going to try something else. So he took a section off of Carl's thigh, and he went in through here. And he put it up there, and by golly, that one worked.
Huh.
And yeah, he went through hell there. Yeah, you got a roof in his mouth. You got a new set of teeth because one part of his jaw was taken out there. And one time I went down to see him. He told me, he says, well, John, he says, when I get a haircut, he says, I haven't clipped the hairs in the roof of my mouth. I was going to ask him if he could give him a glass of water to rinse his mouth. I wouldn't know I didn't. But then I got to thinking, what if they got that graft upside down? Jeez. But it's amazing. And he's just laid back. He don't get excited like me, you know. He just takes things as they come, you know.
Yeah.
Carl Johnson Sproat. Then come to find out, his cousin lived here in Plymouth. Lynn G, that's her married name, G. Lynn Johnson, that was his first cousin.
Huh.
And we put that together. And then Carl finding his corpsman buddy lived down there about 20 miles apart. There's a lot of funny coincidences, you know.
Yeah.
And can't think of what. Then we went to China. After the war was over, you know. After they dropped the atomic bomb.
Tell me about that. Was that a good
we
thing?
Were on,
Was that a good thing?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Did you ever hear the figures on the Japanese? If we had invaded Japan, had orders to kill the military, every Allied prisoner they had, and that was 200,000. if it was invaded. And by dropping that first atomic bomb, of course we only had 3, I sum it up this way: PUP, the test bomb out at Alamogordo was plutonium.
Right.
Hiroshima bomb was uranium.
Right.
The Nagasaki bomb was plutonium. Okay. A lot of people says, well, give them a demonstration bomb. Give them a demonstration. Who was you going to demonstrate in front of them? Get some Japanese dignitaries out there off an island someplace, and they go back and spread the word what that thing was and what it do. They wouldn't have believed them.
Right.
And in the meantime, our prisoners are dying at the rate of 50 a day there. So if we'd had just one bomb in Hiroshima, they weren't going to surrender then. If we'd had a demonstration bomb, we'd have been done. That's all we had. We'd have had invade Japan. Now, when they dropped the one on Nagasaki, the second one, the emperor decided to give it up, you know. So he sued for peace. And that way the Japanese law didn't lose face, even though the military hated it. And a lot of the military wouldn't go along with it. So when the occupation forces went into Japan, they had to get into the prison camps as fast as they could, you know, because our prisoners were dying at a rate of 50 a day. And of all the prisoners, Dutch, Australian, New Zealanders, British, Filipino, Chinese, the Japs hated the Americans the worst. They gave them the hell a lot more tortures than the rest of them because we bombed them. We were the ones capable of bombing them. And like I said, we were losing prisoners at a rate of 50 a day when occupation forces got in there, even though they weren't, Japs weren't supposed to do any harm to the American prisoners or any of them. They've got 2 cases on record they know of, and they don't know how many others that they don't know of, where the Japanese took the entire crews of 2 B-29s, put them on tables, trapped them, and dissected them alive.
Oh, gee.
That's how nice they were. So, if we hadn't dropped that bomb, both of them, Harry Truman asked the Joint Chiefs of Staff in that lull between Okinawa and the planned invasion, or what they weren't sure they were going to do, what they thought the casualty rate would be for the invasion of Japan. The Joint Chief told Harry Truman probably 1 million the first year. Harry says the first year. He says, yeah. He says, drop it.
Yeah.
They're trying to fathom how many years it would take to totally control Japan. It might have been 3 years, and what the hell kind of losses would we have had?
Yeah, you know, based on what you saw at Okinawa, I mean, you didn't just go in and this is toward the end of the war. They didn't have much left to fight with.
They had plenty on the home island, though.
Right.
And they were getting more desperate. As they went through the Pacific, the battles got a little more vicious, you know.
Yeah.
And the Japs had fought like hell on their homeland.
Every man, woman, and child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they had a lot of stores there of ammunition, you know, caches, hidden caches, and a few planes left, quite a few. Enough to make some kamikaze hits on the invasion ships out there. And one of these tapes I got from that minister, Frank Mack. He made a few tapes. And he was in our division. He died last year. Or Mac Douglas. He talked to Harry Truman, and he told Harry Truman he was grateful you give the order to drop that atomic bomb. He says, well, I imagine you are. Harry's told him, he says, you wouldn't be here today if we hadn't. And the guy says, yeah, I know that. Harry says, by the way, you know, your 6th Marine Division was going to be the spearhead in the invasion of Japan. Well, buddy,
Ouch.
Yeah.
we'd been the sacrificial spearhead to blunt the opposition, and because we was probably the biggest full-strength division. And I don't know why they choose that. Of course, they had their own reasons, you know, I suppose, for the 6th Division being there. But I wouldn't be here talking to you fellas if it hadn't been for that, you know. And you hear so many people against the atomic bombs dropped in Japan. I hate this nuclear proliferation we got here today, you know, but I gotta say, if we hadn't had it back then, why, there's a lot of people who wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Some of your relation, and somebody you're connected to now who you wouldn't have been connected, you know, if somebody died some friend or something. You know how that goes.
We could even have been talking Japanese right now.
Yeah. Well, they always said, I heard that rumor that Japanese says Hirohito, when Japan won the war, is going to have, Hirohito's going to ride his white horse up the Capitol steps, you know, and each Jap citizen to have 3 American slaves. That's the plans they had for us. Look what we did for them.
Yeah.
Too nice to them. And then, what's his name? Goes over there and shows Jap industry how to do it.
Oh,
And,
Deming, right.
Dimming or?
Deming, yeah.
Yeah.
And Detroit didn't want to have nothing to do with a radical like that. Yeah, we asked for it in an indirect way. Yeah, we needed atomic bombs dropped in Japan because then when they did surrender, the 4th Marines, the 4th Regiment Our Division went in as part of the occupation force, and they sent 22nd, 29th to China. We thought we was coming home, but no, we got to go to China. And we left Guam about, sometime in September, October, and landed on Chinese soil about October. I don't want to say the date because I'm not quite sure. I've got it in here, and they're approximate. And we were supposed to take over Japanese military installations, hold them for the nationalists, so the communists wouldn't get them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was useless. We thought, you know, China was a reliable ally. We didn't know the turmoil in China, you know, between the communists and the nationalists. The regular Chinese hated
Chiang Kai-shek?
yeah, Chiang Kai-shek. They hated him. And Sun Yat-sen was their boy. But he's been long dead, you know. They want somebody else to take his place. And there we were in China. The Japs hated us, but they couldn't do nothing to us. They're going to surrender. We didn't care if they hated us. And the nationalists resented us. Or the communists resented us, and the nationalists tolerated us.
Mm-hmm.
So we never got a smile from any factor there, you know. And I left China, around the 1st of May of 46. On points, you know, the high point men left first. And they cut the brigade. It was 2 regiments is a brigade. They cut it down to, as men left, just 1 regiment, the old China 4th, they called it again, you know. And we was losing men over there. There the war was over and we was getting shot at in China. I said, the war's over and I get killed in China, well, I'll be mad.
Yeah.
And we was getting shot at before they were in Europe.
So who was shooting at you?
Chinese nationalists.
Yeah.
They had the 8th Route Army surrounded that Shantung province, and they had us outnumbered about 20 to 1. And the tension was always high there. Yeah. I remember, you still got me on?
No, you're doing fine, you're doing fine. I'm just making sure everything's going good, the sound and everything. I don't want to lose anything.
Had perimeter guard around our area, you know. I didn't like it, but everybody had to take a stint at it, you know. Young Chinese and student guard come up to me and wanted to know if he'd talk to me. I said, well, yeah, perfect English. He says, I was want to ask you a few things. And I says, I can tell you, but nothing of a military nature. He said he understood that. And this and that, and he wondered where I was from. I says, Plymouth, Indiana. He says, Indiana? I says, yeah. He hesitated a little bit. He says, oh, Indiana, very bad. I said, well, what makes Indiana bad? You know, I can't. He says, oh, John Dillinger. They heard about that clear over there back. What, he's one of the warlords, like ruins a province over there?
Yeah.
I says, no, I said, John Dillinger, he's been dead. Got killed in when the hell was it, 34. 11 years before this. And I says, he ain't even around no more. And I knew he doubted me. Says legends die hard in the Orient. It'd probably take him another 10, 11 years to find out he really was dead, you know. But I get to thinking, then people heard about Dillinger clear over there back in the 30s.
Yeah.
And I was always going to write, I should have got his address to write him, but he's probably either got swept up in the communism, probably dead now, or this or that, you know. But he, right down home in English, he was real prolific at it. And I wondered about a few things like that. But my group, one certain point group, left China on the Coast Guard transport. And it was a pretty calm. It was about the first sea journey I made. I didn't get seasick. Pretty smooth all the way from China to the Daegu. And our captain of the ship was Jack Dempsey, if you believe that.
Oh, no kidding.
Jack Dempsey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And asked some of the sailors on there, and they hated him.
Huh.
He says, "What's the deal?" He says, so-and-so, they got called up, appeared before the captain. He didn't put a mop away or something, you know. Little guy, about 145 pounds. He says, Dempsey hauled off and cold cocked him. Just to keep up the state of the art, I suppose. And after that, none of the sailors respected him at all. And like I said, we was down lounging on the deck, nice sunny weather, and looking up on the bridge. And here he was with the other officers. I said, yeah, they do the navigating for him. He was just a figurehead.
Oh, really?
Make it look like he did his part in World War II, you know. But he got out of World War I, and Gene Tunney made it. He was in World War I in the Marine Corps. Remember, that's the guy that beat him?
Yeah.
And Dempsey got out. But he's trying to polish his image, you know, by getting in Coast Guard skipper of USS Charles Carroll. I remember I got a book out of the ship's library. I had my 45 with me. I was trying to get it back, you know. You went through so many inspections, I made it. And the ones in the state, they'd take it away from me. They're pretty stringent inspections. I was thinking and thinking and thinking. I went down to the ship's library and I checked out this book, the poetry book, or Mercury book. It's full of poems, you know. It's about that thick.
Yeah.
So I got that and I carved out pages in it. I left the first chapter intact and the last, you know, carved with a double-edged razor blade, you know. Get that fit in there, yep. Close it up. And the closest I come was on a train trip back from Daegu to Great Lakes, where us guys from this area got discharged. And somebody had their billfold stolen on the train. Man, they got a lockdown. Everybody up. Put all your stuff on the seat there. Man, I put all my stuff there and my duffel bag was swinging up there on a hook, you know. That's where I put that book in it.
Yeah.
And the officer, they looked up and says, whose is that? And I says, it's mine, sir. He says, get it down. Well, I got it down. I had a clean set of khakis in there, you know, in that book. Pulled them out, picked that book up, looked at it, threw it down the seat, went boom, boom, boom. On that springy seat, you know. Oh, damn.
Just waiting for it to pop up.
It's just bouncing. It had to be heavy to make it. Yeah, I got that 45 with me today. Would you like to see it?
Yeah, I would. I would.
We'll go get her.
That's good.
Pass her around.
And have it turned on.
Ah.
Okay.
It's hard to tape if you don't have it on.
It's really hard. And it does have some numbers on it too. I just got the numbers.
Yeah, 880, 186.
Yeah.
I don't remember that serial number.
So this is the weapon you used on Okinawa.
Yep, beside my Browning automatic rifle.
Yeah.
That's
Used a
great.
BAR
You got
and
the
then
camera on now?
Mhm.
Yeah, camera's on, and we can get the other side of it too.
the scary part is that you had to use a 45.
Mm-hmm.
You had a BAR and you had to use a 45 on
Turn-
occasion.
Close.
Turn it back around the other way, Don.
Okay.
Yes, a good gun company.
Yeah. I think that Ithaca is on that side, isn't it?
Now, what
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
was the caliber of the BAR?
They were 30.
They were 30s.
Yeah, just like the
You
Grand.
could, so you
Okay.
couldn't swap ammunition for one for the other, could you?
Oh, yeah. .30-06 ammo for the BAR and Browning automatic rifle.
No, I mean, for the pistol.
Oh, no.
You couldn't swap them.
No, this is stubby 45s. Hang on, fella, I got to get rid of some more coffee down here.
Okay. Yeah.
Poopy.
We're recording.
We're recording now.
Okay. One thing I forgot to mention on that stalemated battle line, there were a couple times when everything went completely silent. It was weird.
Huh.
No fire from the enemy, no planes, no artillery. And we heard a sound we never heard before. It was always there, but it had been drowned out, you know.
Yeah.
The sounds of battle. Rising and falling over the hills and valleys sounded like a moan. But it wasn't a moan. It sounded ominous, but it wasn't a moan. It was a drone. The drone of trillions of flies hovering over the battlefield and the dead.
Gee.
And like I said, you couldn't have heard it during the battles, you know. But you think it was some giant moaning or something, you know, echoing this and that, but that was just the drone of the trillions of flies. The flies were an inch thick, or an inch deep long, damn it. They're real aggressive. And they bite you, they draw blood. And like I said, the flies were the only living things that prospered there. They got fat and healthy.
Yeah.
And you couldn't scare me. They'd come right back at you, you know. Is it still want some more?
You got it.
Yeah. Then the torrential rains came. Turned that shell-torn ground into a quagmire, you know. And it washed the maggots out of some of the corpses. And you see maggots run down, little trickles, streams. Big fat kidney bean sized sons of bitches. Settle in shell craters. And that mud was 2 to 3 foot deep in spots. You could hardly move. You had supplies had to come up by foot. Vehicles couldn't cut it. Even Amtrak or their amphibious track. And the only thing we had over our heads was our helmets. The Japs, even though they were in the caves and dugouts, they were at least dry. They were damp, but they weren't getting saturated. And some guys thought, God don't let me get wounded in the mud. And some did. They're wounded bad, they just fall over and either sink and drown or suffocate, whatever the case may be in that mud. And it took an hour for 4 guys on a stretcher to take a wounded man back to where it wasn't all torn up the ground, you know, and track vehicles could take him back to the hospitals if you could get him back in time. And the time them guys got there with the wounded guy, they had to take a break. They were just fatigued to the bone, you know. And while they was resting there, here comes some more coming up, you know. And those rains lasted 3 and 4 days. And to this day, I hate rain. I can't help it. I know we need it.
Yeah.
And didn't have a dry stitch on. And we kept our cigarettes in our helmet. And some of them got wet. And everything was just, and we did get a dry cigarette. That was a big blessing. Some of the guys kept them dry. You put them in your helmet. That was the only way to do it. But then your hands were so wet. You had matches, you know, and you get the matches wet, you was done. But I'm trying to remember how miserable that was. You sink in the mud and you had to pick your foot up, you know, suck it out. And you were exposed. You couldn't move that fast. But I remember the big maggots running down in tricklets, and some of them running shell craters filled with water, and you'd see just a sea of the mass of maggots on that top of that shell crater with the water in it. Looked like the devil's soup bowl. Never seen anything like it. Probably never will again. I don't think the United States will see a war like that again, where troops are exposed to such impossible reckoning. Even to this day, I wonder how we did it. But we were Depression kids. We didn't expect too much. We weren't too disappointed or surprised, I guess. And really, we suffered from malnutrition. We never had any milk or fruit for a period of 2 years there, you know. And any of the other life-sustaining foods. And a lot of guys, after they got out of service, started putting on a little weight. It's just like your prisoners of war in Japan. The Americans had it the worst. Now, some of them in different prison camps, they come out of it. They were skin and bones, and some of them didn't. You know, when they got back to the States, they fed them the best diet they could handle at the time to slowly build them back up. They couldn't eat much. Their stomach
couldn't start with a normal diet, could they?
And 2 or 3 years, they figured they should have them back to where they are supposed to be, but most of them weren't. Their internal organs deteriorated from all them years of malnutrition, you know, and they never come around. And some of them guys never lived past 50 years old. But you don't hear much about them. Now, seeing that VFW magazine, some of the prisoners, Jap prisoners that work in the coal mines, got black lung, and they want reparation from the Japanese government and the coal mine owners. But the State Department says, no, we're not at war with Japan anymore, you know, so we can't put that on the State Department document. It's in the VFW magazine, so they disregarded their own American prisoners. But now they're suing Mitsubishi and some of them others. I wonder how they're going to do in that suit. I think Mitsubishi and who else? I can't think of.
Yeah, I don't know who else would be running the mines, but
Mitsubishi, they used to make good dive bombers.
yeah.
And other planes. Zero Sen, the Jap Zero.
You didn't see any Japanese planes there on Okinawa, did you?
See any?
Yeah, did any
Well,
get attacked, attacked by
just
any?
the kamikazes that hit the ships in the harbor, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
None of those went after any kind of land positions, did they?
no. Because our Vought Corsairs would blast them down before they even got there. At night, we were only about half a mile from the beach, and we could see the kamikazes coming in at night, you know, the fire. All anti-aircraft guns shooting up in the air. Unbelievable sight. And then pretty soon, while you hear thump, 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 some of the shell splinters and bullets were coming down around us. We had to try to get under something, you know.
Yeah.
Because God knows how many tons of metal are in the air. And I had one land near me. I want to see if I can find it.
Give me a story on this now.
We were laying on the beach watching the anti-aircraft from the ships in the harbor getting up, shooting the kamikaze. And, they must have had, buddy, 500 or so guns, maybe more than that, all calibers.
Yeah.
And shooting up in the air. After a little bit, maybe a minute or two, we heard stuff falling around us, you know. That's this stuff coming down.
Huh.
Okay.
Wow.
right by the hole. And I seen it thump, you know, and I reached out. Phew, damn, it was hot.
Yeah. Cooled off a little bit.
Yeah. So I got that in my pack and I brought it home, amongst other things. Okay, ready for some more?
You got some more you can,
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want
we'll
it.
take what you got. We only get one shot. We're gonna get what we can here.
All set.
All set.
One of the greatest sights I'd seen over there was our big battleships laying out there in the harbor about 4 or 5 mile. And at night, they'd open on a broadside, you know, and shelling inland targets. First you'd see a flash out there, kind of looked like a new dawn awakening or breaking. And then you'd hear the whammo from the report of the gun. And a little bit overhead. They made different sounds as they went through the different atmospheres, clouds and stuff. You go wow, 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 vroom, 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 rumble, 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 walkity, 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 you know. And a 3-gun turret, the center gun had the tracer in it. You could see that tracer. You knew there were 2 fat pigs on each side, one on each side. You know, 3 of them coming in. And we'd kind of count, see how long it took them to land. And we'd feel the ground shake first. Then we see a flash off in the distance. It was surrounded by hills and stuff, you know, not clear stretch of water like.
Yeah.
And then we heard the explosion, you know. We felt the shot in the ground just a tad. And seen the flash, and then the sound of the explosion. And we watched that go on for about, maybe a half hour, you know. And the shells made a weird sounds going through there, them big 2,000 pounders. And I thought, I hope there ain't a short one of them. We got hit by some short rounds, you know.
Yeah.
Called back and give the artillery boys hell, and he says, well, it looked good when it left here. That was our standard answer. You betcha, buddy. But that's sights and sounds we'll never see again.
Yeah.
I hate to see them old battleships mothballed or cut up, you know. And why don't they just save one? They have, I guess.
They have.
And save the guns off the others. They were a masterpiece. Those 16-inch rifles. They now, you know, not to make fun of anybody. Here about 10 years ago, when the Blueberry Festival out here at Plymouth, we went out there. They had the National Guard out there with a big 155 millimeter rifle. You know, we was looking that thing over, me and my youngest son there, and asking, well, what's the muzzle velocity of this thing, you know? They ask around, no, we don't know, it's probably 800 mile an hour. 800 mile an hour. Supposed to be 2,400 feet per second.
Yeah.
And them guys didn't know a blink about it.
Yeah.
And I walked away wondering, I wonder if they can read the charts and trajectories and everything if they go to try to plant one on a target.
As long as you didn't have to actually use the thing, it'd be all right.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, that sounds we'll never hear again. And I wish they'd made recordings of that. Maybe they have, but I get to thinking, is my generation the last one to hear the sights and sounds of something like 16-inch guns going off and seeing the projectiles up in the air, projectiles, and the end result? Much like that little kid I saw the Akron, that airship.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. In fact, you want this one?
Oh, yeah. Go for it.
When
This is great.
that's when my folks were still together, we lived in Bluffton at the time, and my dad had a sister, Marie, in Akron, Ohio. So he said, when we get there, next morning we'll go down and see that airship they're building, John. I says, okay. We come in that highway, kind of around the hills there, you know, a little bit above Akron. He says, there's the hangar. I looked down there and looked at that building. It's monstrous. I couldn't believe, you know, comprehended, a little kid. Okay, the next day we went down there, and my dad says, come on. And inside you could see welders up in the air there in the building. Arc welding on that. And it was so big it had its own atmosphere in there. It would fog and it would drip, you know, and this and that. And the doors were 120 foot high. And they closed them on the railroad car trucks. Open and close them doors. They were built in the Akron. And a couple of years later, down in Bluffton, so happened Captain Shoemaker, skipper of the Akron, was from Bluffton.
I didn't know that.
So on one of his cruises west, he come over Bluffton. And I remember he was hovering over Walnut Street there. For 3 blocks, the sun was blotted out. He's only 500 feet off there. We seen those guys waving, you know. And somebody at the back end would drop a little parachutes. Kids scrambling all over hell to get them things. And he took off and he come back again, passed over Bluffton. And over there, see the guys waving up there, and then he took off. And that was it. Never seen him again. Nobody did. Sometime after that, he went down off of Cape May, New Jersey in a storm. Skipper wasn't supposed to take it. That wasn't him. Anyhow, Captain Shoemaker went out. His folks had a farm northwest of Bluffton. And he dropped off a parachute with letters in it to his folks. And Captain Shoemaker, yeah, he's quite the guy. He brought John Paul Jones' body back from Europe in the 1920s.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, there's all kinds of history here.
And I remember how that Akron sounded. Them big engines rumbling, you know. God, boom, 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 boom. Up in the air there, it just carried. Yeah, I remember when they said the Akron going was crashed, I bawled, a little kid. That was my big hero machine, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sights and sounds you'll never see again. The early
Right.
part of the 20th century.
Goodyear blimp probably sounds like a pop gun compared to that.
Oh, yeah. Really, everything happened the first half of this century, you know. Or not 20th century.
Yeah.
We're in 21 now, ain't we? We climbed out of that, like the man says, greedy and corrupt 20th century. Trying to think what else might have left out.
Well, when you came back from China, what was the route you took to get back?
I don't know whether we zigzagged or not. I don't think we had to. Of course, the war was declared over when they sunk the Indianapolis, you know.
Yeah.
That's a big controversy. And Jap sub didn't get the word and he sunk the Indy. But we, that was right after. After he delivered the atomic bomb to Tinian. That's what the Indianapolis did, deliver the atomic bomb to Tinian when the Enola Gay took off later on Hiroshima. And there's a story behind that too. That ship was not supposed to leave the Marianas Islands without a destroyer escort. They sent him away without a destroyer escort. Rendezvous in the Philippines, Subic Bay. And the reason for that goes back to about the turn of the century. And Captain McVeigh, skipper of the Indianapolis, his father was an admiral. when Admiral King, head of the whole works, was a young ensign in the South China Sea, pulled an infraction, and Admiral McVeigh reprimanded him, and that young ensign never forgot that. When he climbed up to be Admiral King, sitting in Washington, head of the whole damn Navy, well, there's Admiral McVeigh's kid. He's gonna get her now. That's how that son of a bitch carried a grudge. Sent him out there without an escort.
People died for no particular reason. In a horrible way, too.
They got a good book out. We got it here, Death of the Indianapolis and All the Drowned Sailors. And they didn't bother to check on them guys. The policy was at the time, when a ship reaches its destination, they're supposed to let them know. And they gave them plenty of time. But they did not set a time limit from point A to point B. This Indy was overdue. They didn't think nothing of it. Here them guys are out there fighting sharks and trying to stay alive. Nobody even checked. Till that guy from Frankfort, Indiana, happened to spot them in the water. And then they sent all kinds of rescue ships out to get them. They pulled some of them out in the life preservers, and the bottom half was gone. The sharks had just cut them off, you know. They thought they might be alive, but they sure weren't. Well, that's how that happened, Admiral King. And it tells about that in that book. And they court-martialed McVeigh, the skipper of the Indianapolis, and he went home. He was demoted in rank, and some of the sailors' parents that died on there sent him hate mail, you know, and this and that. And there were people out to exonerate him, saying it wasn't his fault. The Japs skipper, they even pulled him over from Japan, the one sub-skipper, and asked him if it made any difference if McVeigh was zigzagging or not. And he says, no, we'd have got him anyhow. And that's the first time in the history of the United States a former enemy of the United States was brought to the United States to testify against an American serviceman. So it's shafting. That's the first time that's ever happened, and it hasn't happened again. Yeah, they found him out in these steps one morning. He shot himself. He's laying there with an old Colt revolver. It was, he just couldn't live it down, and it was not his fault. Well, that's a lot of stuff they cover up. Takes place in the high command. I think, just like Patton, I got no use for that guy. Admiral King's another one.
So what about your chain of command in the Marine Corps? I mean, what'd you think of some of those fellows?
They were all what they call capable, qualified, or the only ones you had trouble with was the second lieutenants really trying, you know. And they'd come up with some of the rottenest, stupidest stuff. I had one pull me out of down there in North Carolina at advanced training at Tent City. I was just walking from the PX back to my quarters, you know, and here this Lieutenant Johnson, always on my tail, stopped me, asked me where I was going. I says, just going to the PX to get some stationery, sir. And he said, who are you going to write? I said, well, I thought I'd write home, you know. And he had me standing at attention there for 10 minutes and just chicken shit stuff.
It's dumb.
And they like to feel that authority, you know.
Yeah.
Here's a peon, I can better build my ego. And that's really the only second lieutenant I ever had run up against that I really hated. There were others, but there were good ones too. But,
So what were the guys on up the line?
all from captain on up, they seem to be good.
Who were some of the fellows that you reported to?
Captain Fowler, the captain of our company, he got killed on that Yokeezy Hill. They call it Yokeezy because the grid line's Y and E on the map. and he got killed on my birthday, June 13. He's a hell of a nice guy. He looks something like between Charlton Heston and Gregory Peck, you know, white-haired.
Yeah.
Just nice looking guy. And easy going. He didn't give anybody hell, anybody under him. He's a capable guy. And that's where we lost him, June 13th, 1945. And after that, we didn't have any company commander. Had a lieutenant, but our platoon, there was times we never even had a platoon leader, no commissioned officer, and nobody higher than corporal.
Yeah. Yeah, you lose them so fast.
Decimated, yeah.
You couldn't replace them.
And they couldn't bring enough in from the States. It's like I said, if we invaded Japan, we'd have wiped out a lot of the young generation there. But I guess somebody said to William Manchester, how could you guys walk in on Tarawa like that, taking that fire and dying? They said, we wouldn't. He says, how can you guys do it? Manchester says, well, that was our generation. William Manchester, the author.
Yeah.
And they says, well, by God, we wouldn't do it. Maybe not.
You had a job to do.
Mm-hmm. Peleliu was another mess. They could have done without that island. You ever hear of that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Good friend Howard Allen was there.
oh, yeah?
He was on Okinawa
That was
as well.
so unnecessary. Admiral,
Halsey?
yeah, he told him that it was worthless. He says, but MacArthur wanted it because he was afraid of planes leaving there and hitting the Philippines where he had his
Yeah.
eagle-making campaign
Didn't
going.
want to mess up his ceremony.
Hmm?
Didn't want to mess up any of his
Yeah.
ceremonies.
And you could have let it rot on the vine. You bypass it like they did a lot of them in the New Britain chain, you know. Why invade that thing? We'll just get the next one, you know. And that way they won't get no supplies. They'll be rotting on the vine. And a lot of that happened to the Japs in New Guinea and some of the islands in New Britain. Around New Britain, too. They could have let them go. And Peleliu, the 1st Marine Division died at Peleliu, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They was never the same since. That's where the Japs first learned defense in depth. Don't try to stop us at the beach. Let us land. And then, so we're there, and then they can nail us. And that's what they did at Peleliu, and that's the tactics they used at Iwo and Okinawa, too.
Those 3 ridges right in the middle of the island.
Mm-hmm.
Just suicide to even get in there.
Yeah, that Bloody Ridge, they called it.
Yeah.
Ummerbrogel. Had you ever heard that? That was the
Hadn't
name
heard
of
that.
it. What the natives called it. And it was disheartening the way that Peleliu campaign developed, the way it ended up. And they didn't use it field, airfield. Now it belongs to the, I forget what race of people that is. It's not the Chamorros like on the Marianas, the Micronesians. Well, another thing I found out, recently, you guys remember, of course you're familiar with Tarawa, and the Marine Raider assault on Macon Island when they landed them from submarines.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that was the first
Hadn't heard that.
stint of the Pacific War, Raider Battalion in submarines. Man, if that wasn't a crowded deal.
Well, I bet.
And they landed in rubber boats in rough seas, and it went pretty well. But the Japs didn't know they'd even landed till one guy fired his rifle accidentally, and that gave the signal, you know. And they had a hell of a battle. They got most of the Japs. There was a few left, but they had to get back while the sub was out there, you know. And most of them did. Now, just in the paper here a while back, they brought back some of the dead from Macon Island. Did you read that?
No, I didn't catch that.
Mm-hmm. And they come to find out, if we hadn't hit Macon Island, the Japs wouldn't have fortified Tarawa as much as they did.
Are you kidding? Yeah, we Bob Graham, Lieutenant Anderson, he fought there.
Did he?
Boy.
That was a blistering
Tough
campaign.
stuff.
72 hours.
Tough stuff.
Yeah, if they hadn't hit Macon, they needed something like that to build up morale during the war, just like Jimmy Doolittle's raid on Tokyo. And I got to thinking, well, that's one thing that backfired. A Macon Island raid made Tarawa doubly heavy. Worse than that. Something else I was going to say, I can't think of it. You guys got time for this, huh?
Well, we got to finish the story.
We gotta finish your
I,
story, buddy.
Don't know if I'm pointing out facts that you were aware of or not.
A lot of this we haven't heard before.
Yeah, I got something here, and I'm not taking anything away from the Army, because it happened to some of the Marine Corps too, on this psychoneurotics.
Yeah.
Some of these stats, they don't want you to know. Well, here's one. During a 44-day period of combat on the Gothic Line, that was Italy,
Right.
the 1st Armored Division psychiatric casualties amounted to a startling 54% of all losses.
Gee.
Wow.
Italy was a tough campaign.
It was.
It was tough.
Mhm. It was. That was Mark Clark's boo-boo.
Yeah.
Don't forget your posterity.
Oh,
And-
we'll get there.
Oh, we gotta forget his history from.
Yeah, we got to get you back home. You were we got you out in the Pacific somewhere.
Oh,
Headed back.
you want back home stuff? Okay.
Yeah, and
Well,
came
I got-
back in. Do you come straight to Diego or?
Yeah, straight to Dago. We had to stick around Pendleton a little bit for separation evaluation, because they had to find out if we were fit to merge into civilized society.
Yeah. Were you?
Maybe that in Vietnam too. then.
How'd they do with that?
Man, that burned everybody, you know.
Yeah.
Some woman in WCTU, or Women's Christian Temperance
Yeah.
Union, said the Marines ought to be isolated for a while. She said it too, before they can come back and merge with civilized society.
Yeah.
Said they've used flamethrowers and sometimes bayonets. Inhuman. That was some wishy-washy broad, you know, from talking over their tea and crumpets at the social hour or something. Oh yeah, and I know that's what they were doing to us there. All the other guys did too.
Yeah.
See if we're half psychotic. And after that, about 4 days out to Pendleton, they separated in groups which direction we're going, you know, some southern states, and is that rain?
And snow mix.
Jeez.
Nice spring day.
I worry about these guys getting back. And then our group up the Great Lakes, they've got a naval station there. That's where we went, and I got on that train, all the guys heading this way, and I was the last one that left. They kept dropping guys off down the line, you know, and hit Plymouth. I was the only one serviceman on the train that day. I got off with my little duffel bag, comb, toothbrush, toothpaste, whatever else.
Book of poetry. Book of poetry.
Oh, yeah, that-
What about that?
I had that.
Heavy book.
It was a poetry book.
Yeah.
I was the only one that got off Plymouth Station that day. I thought, Christ, I thought I'd never see my hometown again. It sure looked good. And my mother was waiting there in a 36 Ford. And I wanted so much to walk from that station down to my old house, rented house there on Plum Street. It would have been 3-block walk. But meantime, my mom couldn't handle that big old house, and rent was raised, so she got a small apartment on South or North Michigan Street,
Yeah.
and that blew that. If I'd have got home before we had to go to China, I could have saved all that.
Yeah.
But no, the communists followed us up, you know. That's the communists the reason I lost a lot of stuff. Material stuff here at home, if I'd have got home sooner. But jobs are kind of scarce because all the servicemen coming home, and some were home before we were, and then all the defense plants shutting down, you know, all them people
Yeah.
out of work. So it's a tough job market. So we took scrub jobs wherever we could. And I went back and worked at the A&P store a little bit as a stock boy, and then I got a job at the foundry at South Bend. Stayed up there 34 years. And that's where I got good share of my emphysema, I think. All that smoke, gas, dust, heat, plus a 50-year cigarette habit. Oh yeah, our cigarettes. I remember I didn't smoke. We got overseas, we got a little ration, you know, cigarettes. And I remember Gunny McCurdy said, "Son, you might as well start smoking." He says, "You ain't gonna live long enough for it to bother you." I says, "Oh, thank you, Gunny."
The irony.
Yeah, isn't it?
So I beat the odds, and I was hooked on cigarettes for about 50 years. He was a good old boy, though, Gunny McCurdy. He didn't like somebody, why he'd say, "Bite my ass." He was from South, you know, he had that southern drawl. A lot of them guys, we knew when we left Guadalcanal, we never seen again. I often wonder how many got it, where they were, and if there's any left where they are now, you know.
You know,
Records, the years go by, it's getting harder to trace them down. 50 years since, I forget when they had the first reunion. It's about 72. And I never made none of them until the last couple, because they was close. Springfield, Illinois, a mini reunion, and then the one at Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, by Cincinnati. And I got down there and I says, "What the hell I expect to see some of the guys I knew? All I see is little pot-bellied, bald-headed dudes." I said, "Thanks, yeah, and some of it took it lightly and some didn't.
So, when did you get married?
May of '49,
Okay.
and
And what is your wife's name?
Jean, yeah.
Jean? Maiden name?
Penny, Piney.
How'd you meet her?
How'd you meet her?
She was a waitress up here at Price's Steakhouse in Plymouth, and when I was working at the A&P store, why, we went over there for lunch, you know, because they had good chow, and she told her girlfriend the first couple times I come in here, says, "Claudine, that's the man I'm going to marry." Well, you know, those fellas, it's something cynical with you. Behind your back, something like that is. And I thought, damn, she's overly friendly. He says, "G'day, how are you today?" You know, order a milkshake. She brought me the biggest son of a bitch you ever seen. And one day I come in there with another girl from another store that happened to meet there, and we sat down, and man, was she mad.
And you got a short one that time, didn't you?
Wouldn't even wait on me. I go, damn, what the hell is the matter with her? Yep, there's sinister forces working behind your back. But this is our youngest son, Bard. I always said, you know, you're getting older when your youngest son needs reading glasses. You know?
It's been about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really get you too good because
Yeah.
the focus is on him. but
Okay. So, how many children did you have?
Just him and his older brother, Ben.
Okay.
Ben's
Barton.
50 now, you're
Yeah, 49.
49, nothing to it, man. Like I said, fellas, you know, or did I tell you, it says in a good book, 70.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then if you go over that, you're asking for it.
Did you guys plan to come down April 1st or not? Or was it just a,
It just worked out that way.
well, you know the significance of the day?
Yeah, there really is some, that's
Well, I
some,
didn't think
something
of
we
it,
didn't
yeah.
get on there. And
Yeah.
April 1st is, April Fool's Day.
That's
But,
right.
but it was also the invasion day of Okinawa
And Easter Sunday.
and Easter Sunday
It's the
all at
only
once.
time them come together for a number of years, you know.
Yeah.
Manchester, you know, they got birthdays, famous birthdays.
Mhm.
He ain't in there this time.
Yeah.
Bill Manchester, yeah. We used to write back and forth once in a while, you know. And he's so damn busy, he was. He'd forget who it was once in a while, you know.
Right.
But he's in bad shape now. He's had a couple strokes. And he's midway through a book and he can't finish it. I knew that would happen. Have you ever read some of this stuff?
Oh, yeah, I've read some.
It's good.
American Caesar, Doug MacArthur, and the Arms
Glory
of
in the
Krupp.
Dream.
I don't know where he gets all his information. And,
Lots of research.
Well,
oh, he does.
he tells it like it is. I mean, he just pulls no punches.
He was telling about, he's got a plate in his head, you know. He was hit on Roque Peninsula there. Him and Cy Ivis. Japs threw a saddle charge, or no, a big mortar screaming Mimi come in to hit him. And they took him to hospital ship, and Pearl only had one more bone in him than he should have had. He had a piece of femur from another guy blowed in his kidney box cavity.
Gee.
And he got a little plate in his head. And then he was Kennedy's personal historian, you know, John Kennedy. And they were on the Washington Monument grounds of the big Washington Monument. And Teddy Kennedy, the dumb son of a bitch, comes up behind him with a flying tackle and puts him right to the ground. There he was, you know. He wasn't too damn healed up yet, and then a plate in his head, and Teddy Kennedy's got to show him how he can tackle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I got hit by a sniper 3 days before the end of the campaign. We reached the end of the island, went through this jungle fringe, you know, and crapped out there on a hard coil. Guys are taking their shoes off and socks and shaking them out and this and that, you know. And got the call to come on back in. We got to go down farther. So they started to get up their gear to leave, and all of a sudden machine gun starts opening up. The Japs were probably thinking to get some more out there before they opened up, you know. And hitting that hard coil just made crackety crack. So they said leave in 2s and 3s. And the gun was still pecking at us. And I thought, Christ, it's coming closer all the time. And I had to stay in cover because I was a BA Armman.
Right.
Till everybody got out. So by the time everybody was out and I was there by myself, they really got pissed. They took it all out of me, you know.
Yeah.
And it firing hit here and here. And I thought, I got to get the hell out of here. So I did, but I spread eagled, you know, like this. And one of them hit me in the damn leg here. Flipped that leg out and kicked myself in the ass harder than I ever been. Knocked my canteen off. And that's when I decided to go. And I didn't know whether I had a leg or not. That hit and that hurt clear up to my armpit.
Huh.
I got up, took off, and I thought, I'm running, I must have a damn leg. And dove into that jungle fringe, you know, and the trail of machine gun fire still trying to follow me in there. Damn it, shot a button off my coat, or my dungaree jacket. And
Close.
I was laying flat on my back, you know. I thought, damn, I just kept scooting farther back in there. I got back there a little bit, and I thought, oh, I got to look at that. I didn't want to see it, pants all bloody, you know. So I pulled the pants leg up, and there's a big open split right in the shin bone there, skin. And I took that sulfa pack they'd give us, you know, I carried that for 3 months. Thought I would finally get rid of that. Shook the sulfa on there and tied it around her like a big band-aid, you know. Next day, after a quiet night, not too many rumbles. Next day my leg is swole up. Just pants leg, I could barely walk. I couldn't bend my knee, you know, that was really swole up. I thought I gotta hobble back to battalion aid. They'll probably cut the son of a bitch off. And finally found battalion aid. The guy says, "You got a honey, ain't you?" I says, "Yeah." So they couldn't get my pants leg up, so they slid it clear up to my knee. I said, "Jesus Christ, fellers, that's the only pair I got." And it was dirty and bloody, and you know, we all stunk. So they dressed that up, then come out with this needle, and that vial looked like the size of a hot dog too, you know. And I said, "What's that?" He says, "That's penicillin." I said, "What is penicillin?" He says, "It's a new miracle drug we got." He says, "You'll be okay within a couple hours after we give you this shot." So they put that in my rump here. Man, it had a bulge on there about like the size of a damn grapefruit.
45 caliber.
Yeah.
But they was right. About 2 hours, the swelling went down. The infection was stabilized. Before I left, I taped my leg up with surgical tape, taped the pant leg up, you know. And like I said, it was dirty. We was all dirty. We stunk. Jeez. The shower was a thing of the past. All the shell holes are full of water with a corpse in. You couldn't bathe in them.
Yeah.
Couldn't rinse your feet off. And you wouldn't believe how we smelled. And we couldn't either. But our knapsacks, we had an extra pair of dungaree jackets, the battle jackets, you know, with the USMC on. But that was the last down. We're all down to our last pair of trousers. Some guys were on their second pair of shoes. They had to take them off a dead man a couple times, and I only took mine off. I took once off a dead man. And you don't feel guilty doing it because he's gone, you know, he ain't going to use them no more.
Yeah.
But people don't realize. They think war's war. See it in the Hollywood movie pictures, you know. And how men suffer. Die screaming, some, like I said, some died silent, some died screaming. It, like I said, it's quite a step into crude reality for a young man.
Did you pick up any medals for what you did?
All we got was a ribbons Asiatic Pacific with a little bronze star to indicate you were there during the action. And got a China medal. We got the Presidential Unit Citation. I'm more proud of that than anything. And, of course, a Good Conduct Medal. Anybody got that? Didn't get in too much trouble after the war. And I got the China Service ribbon. China Service and China Occupation. Purple Heart. But you know, you're reading the paper, somebody dying says he's got 5 bronze stars. What they're getting that mixed up with them little campaign stars on the ribbons, you know.
Yeah.
And that ain't the Bronze Star medals.
Yeah.
And they got that in the paper, they got that wrong. They get a little Bronze Star on each ribbon if you was there during the campaign. But people think that's a Bronze Star award, you know.
Yeah.
That's just little Bronze Stars for recognition.
You got palms if you got more than one bronze star.
Pardon?
You got a palm.
Yeah.
Not,
Mm-hmm.
not a star.
Yeah, if you happen to get 3, I think they'll give you a Silver Star for it. I don't know how that works anymore.
The gentleman we filmed this morning had 2 bronze stars. But,
Where's he from?
well, he's from Rossville.
Can't think where that's at.
Yeah, it's near Lafayette. It's on Highway 26. If you take 26 straight east out of Lafayette, it's just a short distance.
26. You know where that's at?
Oh, that goes down to Fairmount, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, right,
James Dean.
yeah,
Go straight through.
yeah, okay.
I can't think of it anymore unless you got something you want to ask me. Remind me.
Yeah, if I can think of what it was I was going to ask you.
What was his
Okay, we got
last
family, we got,
name?
We got family. We got the war record.
okay, posterity?
Yeah, posterity.
Guess we're down. Yeah, you guys got anything?
No, I have
Of
nothing.
course, my grandson here, He's a good hunk of change now.
Did
I
they
guess
wanna
they
get
think
the
to
wife
Harry
in the
Truman,
family?
you know,
They wanna get the wife in the
the
picture?
grandkids here, you know. if it
Yes.
wasn't for- You know what I'm saying, that decision to,
Yeah.
they said it'd be probably 500,000 men in the first, what, 6 months?
That's right. I mean, you talked about all the people that have touched our lives. I mean, look at all the people that
Just,
would not be here.
this would not, this, it's strange, it's like, it's a wonderful lifetime thing, you know.
That's right.
If it wasn't for this guy doing this and this guy, you know.
Yet be far-reaching, you wouldn't realize it, it's a possibility you wouldn't have been here because you didn't have anybody in service then, but somebody might have married somebody in your family and this and that, you know.
Right, it
Sure.
just would have been, yeah, it is.
What about your wife? Would you like to get the wife in the picture?
Yeah, Gene? You wanna come out here and test her camera?
Yeah, we have to ask you questions.
I didn't wanna bother you guys.
Oh, no.
Well, it's
We
everybody
just figured out something we need to find out here.
Easy, tell me the
Something about the
truth.
milkshake.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I hear you make a really good milkshake.
I did for him.
Picked him out, huh?
Yep.
Evil forces working on me here.
Yeah,
So-
but I heard one time you give him an awful short one.
Well, he came in with another girl.
He didn't spit in it or anything.
I
did
didn't
he?
wait, I did not wait on
No, we
him.
didn't wait on that.
I said, you can sit all day, I don't care.
How long did he have to? Did he go before he finally figured out that maybe he ought to treat you a little bit better?
Well, I don't know if that helped or not.
Well,
He
I-
didn't come in with her again.
I think I was broke one day and I wanted to borrow $5 off of you, so she kept on me ever since then.
So how long you been married?
49,
50 years.
51.
What was the date of your wedding?
March.
April, no, it was not, John. April 29th, 1950.
No, it's 49.
49, 50.
1949, 50.
No, it was 50.
50. Okay, what do you think of this guy?
John?
Impossible.
Oh, I'm just real proud of him and what he's been through. And tells his story. I mean, you know, he's gone to different schools and talked to the kids, you know. And this
I
is what
forgot
the
that.
kids need. You know, they don't know history like, you know, like we know history, I guess. But he's just gone to schools and told them different things. Well, the kids, they ask, naturally they don't know. I mean, they're young. They wouldn't know anything about this, you know.
Well, that's it. I got to tell them that
Yeah, so John,
Argus schools. I asked the teacher and the history teacher how realistic and graphic can it be. Juniors and seniors high school. She says, lay it on them. So I was telling them about battlefield conditions and the maggot factor and all that, you know. And one little girl got up and says, "Are you sorry for anything you did?" And old principal really got in her tail, you know.
Yeah.
The other little girl got up and says, "Well, did you take time to take a shower?" Before you go to start from there, I don't know.
yeah,
You got no conception.
no.
No, it's not real to him.
I don't think any of us knew. If
No.
we weren't there, I don't think,
No, that's right. You couldn't know.
you don't know.
Yeah.
One of the things that bothers me is it seems like we're all supposed to apologize for this and apologize for this. You guys got nothing to apologize for. Not one thing.
It's different times, different ages, you know.
Yeah.
Grew up in, well, I got some more stats in World War II in Europe. Would you like to hear them?
Sure.
He's
We're
a,
here to
he's
collect.
a historian.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
He's given us a
And,
lot of
and
great
his
detail.
son over there is too. He's a great reader. A lot of history.
Well, I mean, stats in the United States is 16 million in the war during World War II, but not all in at the same time. Some are going in and some are coming out. So any standing amount would have been 12 million. But that comprising 9% of the total population of the United States at that time.
It's hard to fathom that many people.
And of all them 16 million, 27% never got out of the States.
Yeah.
and doing sundry jobs, this and that, you know. Some are essential and some are superfluous. And 66% were draftees, and the rest of us were volunteers. I volunteered. 28% were high school dropouts. 33% only completed elementary. 14% attended college, and only 3% had 4-year degrees.
Yeah.
And one thing they found out that stunned the government: 40% of those inducted for physicals could not pass the physical. 40%. They called 20 million, only 16 million could pass. 40% of the government officials were stunned. Well, how could this be, they said.
Yeah.
Said all you'd have to do is ask any social worker or school nurse. They'd have told you why. It was because of malnutrition during the Depression.
That's right.
Hadn't
That's
thought
right.
about
Hadn't
that.
thought about that one. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Had not thought about that.
Yeah, we're depression babies.
Yeah, some people really struggled with it.
Yeah.
Okay, 1945 in Europe. By 1945, this is counting the June 6th invasion till the cave-in of Hitler's in Italy, you know, the surrender of Germany. By 1945, 111,000 combat troops were recorded as neuropsychiatric. 111,000, can you believe that?
That's not bad out of 16 million,
No, this is just the ones in Europe.
Just the ones in
but
Europe.
but there was 3 million in Europe alone.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of them weren't combat troops.
Yeah.
So many. World War II, less than 18% actually involved in direct combat. Yet this 18% suffered 75% of the casualties.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can figure 111,000 neuropsychiatric went nuts, 111,000, Christ, they didn't have, I don't know how many combat troops they had in Europe at the time. But you never read about that. The government didn't want it known, and neither did the Army.
How many of them were sent up to the front lines again and got killed?
Yeah, some of them, they said this isn't quite complete. It says that the wounded were counted as wounded, and they could have been both neuropsychiatric. And National Academy of Scientists study found 1/3 of all World War II vets suffered some emotional disorders.
How about coming home? How about being home? What kind of adjustments did you have to make?
Oh, I didn't. I was trying to catch up and want to loss, you know, fooling around with automobiles and I guess getting
can't-
drunk once in a while.
That's
I can't
the
remember
one
when
thing
I
I've
was a
noticed.
kid, Dad would- I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You got a story.
Just, it's like one of my first memories, you know, and I'd wake up, Dad would be screaming and stuff, and like, geez, I'd just toddle into the bedroom and, what's wrong? Oh, your dad just had a nightmare, honey, go back to bed, Mom. Just
I don't remember
the
that.
war, so I do. I mean,
You
it's
do?
like,
I was?
like what was Dad screaming? What's going on? I mean, it's just, jeez. But
It slowly
it
diminishes.
slowly, you know, healed. I mean,
Yeah, that
and
was
you
in
had
the
to
younger.
soak your feet in this purple stuff for jungle rot. I mean, like in 61 or 62 for about
Yeah.
a 3 or 4 year period, something like that.
Oh, yeah, I had that. Good case of
You just,
jungle
you know,
rot.
go away for 10 years
Imagine.
and come back, and what are you doing soaking my feet in this stuff? I don't even know what that purple stuff was.
You say you did too?
I got from Vietnam, I got
Did
from
ya?
Iraq.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Came and went.
That stuff is tough. They say that's athletes, but no, it ain't.
What did you do for yours? Did they,
I still have it.
you still, yeah?
Yeah, try some
On your
ting.
ankle?
I've noticed that the Marines seem to be a little more
Oh,
adjust,
yeah.
Yep.
easier
Yeah.
to adjust.
I haven't
with
seen it
things.
in years. I'm sorry. I'm not morbid. I just. Yeah.
Looks like what,
Yeah.
Try some of this ting. That used to cure mine. TING.
I
They
was
still
trying to think
got
of
it.
that purple stuff that,
Well, that was when potassium permanganate is so. Oh yeah, I have to tell you this. We still on?
Sure.
We're still on.
When mine was really breaking out bad, we went to the VA hospital in Fort Wayne, and we got there, and this little old doc sitting at the table there, behind his desk. His feet wouldn't touch the floor. Jolly old guy. He says, "What you got, son?" I says, "Junk rot." He said, "Well, you come to the wrong place. This is skin and bone. You should have gone to Indianapolis." He says, "Anyhow, where'd you get that?" I says, "Guadalcanal, Solomon Isles." "Is that where you was?" I says, "Yeah." He said, "That's where I got mine." He said, "Oh."
He was worse off than you.
Just like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, you know, going, "That's where I got mine." Oh, man.
I could have bet on it.
Do you remember him saying that? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Could
Oh,
have
yeah.
bet on it.
Yeah.
What was that doctor's name again?
He set up the first Med Aid
I
back there
don't
on
remember, I
Guadalcanal.
don't remember his name. Do you remember his name?
No, I
John?
don't. God bless him.
It was a German name.
Yeah, it was.
You talking about Carl Sproat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
Holy
you
smokes.
hunted him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was he'd take off in our little old Ford, 36 Ford was it at the time?
Yeah, a couple summers, vacations.
I wouldn't know where he's going, you know, and he'd be
Like that.
gone and he'd sleep in the car looking for this fella all over the countryside.
Some courthouses were really helpful, you know, and others didn't give a blink.
Right.
And
But when we found him, that was so poignant because the kids were, I don't know how old you would have been.
Well, I remember
then,
Dad going up and
Yeah.
didn't say, "Hi, how you doing?" He just kind of looked at his neck.
yeah,
Yep, that's the guy. You know,
Well, Carl didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
He didn't know anything about it. You know,
Yeah.
it was such a.
they called him, said somebody's coming to see. He thought it was a damn book salesman or something, you know. And
But Carl has a great, great attitude.
oh,
to this.
yeah.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy.
Yeah.
Just as real nice family. He just.
Small town.
Well, whatever you do, tell him about us because we'd like to get his story too.
Okay.
I think
that?
that'd be a great
Carl
story.
Sproat.
well, how are they going to get a hold of him?
Well, he's in
those
Florida.
dresses?
He lives in Florida. let's look at that snowing.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. You
I
guys,
thought it was spring.
Carl travels a lot. He'd come up at the drop of a hat. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
to see Dad.
If
You
he's
guys could set
okay,
something up
yeah, if he's well.
someplace.
damn, this. You guys going to be all right in this weather?
Well, we probably ought to wrap
We'll
this
have to
thing
be.
up. But
Well, can
we-
you
we'll-
tell me when you reach back home? So
Oh,
I know
sure.
you made it.
Oh, sure, we'll do that.
I appreciate
Now,
it.
you gentlemen are what? Now, you gentlemen you're a war survivor or? Are
No.
Nope.
No.
You're not.
We're
No,
just
Vietnam.
trying to
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
I never went. I got called and the
They threw us out.
the week he was too small. The week I got called, my ankles went to about that size.
Oh, my.
Oh, you had.
And they took one look. They took one look at it and said, "We don't want you by."
Oh,
So,
Yeah, you couldn't do nothing about that.
and
for sure.
to
Was
tell
that,
you the truth, at the time I was happier than hell.
I bet. Well, yeah.
was that
you know.
for diabetes?
No, doctor said it's probably rheumatic arthritis. But you know the weird part of it is I've never had another attack of it.
Isn't that something?
Well,
though?
that's a blessing.
Arthritis
Right?
kind of does that, though. You know, kind of
It was weird.
comes and goes like that, pretty much. Yeah.
I for one appreciate you fellas, all your efforts,
Yeah.
and
That's,
I hope I've made it worth your while in my small part.
Holy smokes, you have. I mean, it's
We wish we could come back and spend another 2 hours.
This is
well, you're
it's
welcome.
been a long day,
You're
but it's
welcome.
been well spent, and it's been worth the trip up here. I'm just sorry we couldn't get up here sooner. But let's finish off. We always put a capper on this.
All right.
Words for posterity. Things that you want to tell your kids, grandkids.
Great
Generations to
grandkids,
come.
whatever.
Well, really, be cautious is one thing. Always adhere to the law, even though it's fluky sometimes. Be good parents when you put in that position. And maintain a religious balance in your life, because there's a higher court than man is going to judge all of us. I can't think of what else I want to. Help those that's worth helping. I've helped a lot of them that wasn't even worth it and it cost me money, but you make the effort. Be grateful for what we still call a free nation, and hope this country gets a hold of itself. without some of the crooked government and get Congress on the things that really matter. Hope someday they stop this stupid foreign aid. They've got trillions going that they can't even account for. And like Thomas Jefferson said, people get the government they deserve. So if you don't vote, you
That's
can't
true.
gloat.
What do you say? The tree of liberty must be pruned with the blood of patriots and tyrants alike.
Mhm.
So I mean, if it ain't working, change it. You know.
Well, that's good. I hadn't.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything I ought to add to that. That wasn't too good an outlay.
Maureen, I want to thank you for the interview
buddy.
and for the service to our country.
I appreciate that. You know, just lately we're getting some of you young people that are thinking about this that are coming around to putting it on in the books.
How long have you been at this?
Well,
A little over 2 years, really.
we've been planning and scheming for a long time. We were incorporated with the state of Indiana last May 8th, and we did our first interview on August 7th of last year.
Oh, I see.
This is our 34th one, I believe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All with
What you need?
borrowed equipment and out-of-pocket funds, and
Oh, yeah.
just